we're live.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 15th episode of the MMAHOLICS podcast. Thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. We got a special guest, the boy Awjay's MMA. Boy goes by AJ. How you doing, Awjay?
Hey,
You good,
Zach.
brother?
Man, I'm doing great, guys. I'm doing great as always. I'm here to chop it up with you guys, break down UFC, Atlantic City, New Jersey. I cannot wait to go through this card, and I'm stoked to be here with you guys, man. It's always a privilege.
And like, yo, man, you already know we love having you.
Yeah,
Had you for the UFC 299 breakdown. Of course, you had to leave and go make that money, which of course that was
yeah,
no problem at all, bro. You already know priorities come before everything else. You feel me?
absolutely.
And yeah, man, we're gonna have a good night on this card. But yeah, how you doing, Nick? What's up, man?
I'm chilling, bro. I'm excited for a fight night. Can't say that every week, so I'm excited for a fight night.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Nah, I feel you, bro. Yeah, and again, just like how you said, man, I feel like it's a pretty decent fight night on this evening. Saturday evening. Of course, we're recording this at 11:49 Eastern Standard Time, so it's almost midnight, But it's a good card though, man. I really do like it. UFC Atlantic City. Got some decent fights on it. Like Chitty versus Reese McKee, Nate Landwehr versus Jamal Emmers. Julio Arce versus Herbert Burns. Julio Arce is a massive favorite. Probably the biggest I've ever seen him be at like minus 500. That's pretty crazy. But we saw what Burns did in his last performance though. But still, hey man, any fight, anything can happen in a fight, and we just gotta see what happens. But yeah, just with that, we go ahead and get into the card. It's pretty good, man. First fight of the night is Andre Petroski versus Jacob Malkoun. AJ, you can go ahead and have this one, man. You're the special guest, and I know that's your guy. Actually, even before we do that, I messed my bout order up. Let's do the
Yeah. I was like, bro, I might have to correct you, bro. Like we got another fight just before.
Yeah, that was my bad. Yeah, I missed this one.
Good,
but yeah, Angel Pacheco versus Kalen Logren. You can go ahead and take this one, AJ. Go ahead, bro.
All right, boys. So the read that I got on this fight, from what I'm seeing, I like Callum Logren in this fight. I think Angel Pacheco. I mean, did you guys see his fight on the Contender Series? I mean, that was a straight up fucking. I mean, those guys. I'm just gonna say how it is. Like they put up one of the best like Contender Series fights. They went to war. They threw like an insane amount of volume boxing, whatever you want to call it, just absolute junkyard dogs just scrapping with each other. But I don't know about Angel Pacheco, man. I see a couple of people that actually are high on him, since the line is a bit wide for this fight. But at the same time, Angel Pacheco is a guy that can box. He's very scrappy. He's a tough guy. He's a durable guy. He's got good boxing combinations, and he likes to trade in the pocket and kind of be like a junkyard dog. But my problem with Angel Pacheco is that he's got very like shitty takedown defense, and Callum Logren is the worst type of matchup for a guy like Angel Pacheco. Callum Logren is a tough guy. He's a little Irish gingerbread, and I mean he's just a cinder block, man. You know what I mean? I was actually very impressed with Callum Logren in his debut against Taylor Lapalus. He didn't win the fight, but he was pushing a pace and for being very competitive in that fight. Taking down Lapalus multiple times, even though Lapalus is able to get back up to his feet. But I think that in this fight, we see Callum Logren kind of, I'm going to just be honest, I think he kind of dominates Angel Pacheco. I do want to take the dog in Angel Pacheco, but I just think, at 32 years old, he's probably taken a lot of damage, especially in that Contender Series fight. Like he took an insane amount of damage. It was crazy. Logren is younger. I think he's honestly more stronger. I think he's going to be more physical in that cage. And I'm going to just keep it short, sweet, and simple, man. I think he's just going to take down Angel Pacheco at will multiple times and potentially maybe get like a second round ground and pound TKO, second round submission. But I'm going to call a 30-27 Callum Logren decision, unanimous decision win. And, man, I think Logren is decent. I think Pacheco, I just don't want to, be betting on a guy who is coming into the UFC based off a loss from the Contender Series. It's not like he won his fight.
Right.
He got a contract off a loss, so I would like to see Pacheco and what he does in this fight. I think the line is a bit too wide, but I'm going to go with Callum Logren, pardon me, by decision. I don't really give a shit how he wins. I just think Callum Logren gets the job done. But I want to hear your guys' take on this fight.
Yeah, you can go first, Nikki. What's up?
Yeah, so what I noticed first on this fight is Pacheco's moving down to 135, and it's hard to move weights against people who like control the pace of fights, and that's exactly what I think Colin's going to do. Just like a really like solid overall fighter. He's good on the mic, even though no one can understand what he's saying. So I think this fight's kind of tailor made for him to pick up this win. That's what I honestly think. The 375, it's a lot, but like I said, you're moving down a weight class against someone who really knows how to control the pace of a fight. It'll probably be a little back and forth throughout the rounds. I think Pacheco could maybe steal one, but I like 30-27. I mean, I think he could take all. I think it'll be unanimous. You know, I don't think this will be a split decision, but maybe Pacheco could take a round, maybe. For sure. I'm taking Colin for this one by decision.
For sure.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a clean sweep in the first fight of the night. I liked what he showed in his first fight, man, in his debut against Taylor. I know he didn't get it done, like AJ said, but it's more so about like his heart trying to persevere through the adversity. We saw when he came out, he had no walkout music, so he was already trying to set the tone with what with how you felt about being there. I think he's still a good fighter, man. At 27 years old, he can only improve. And I think he can really show that in this fight. I think he could get some of the takedowns, really pick up where he left off against Taylor Lapilus. Instead, really hold Angel down, maybe chase a submission. But I really think that's the key to victory for Kalen Logren, is really like be aggressive with the pressure, a lot of forward pressure, try to get into the ground. And really just try to get a sub, but I think he'll really just end up getting a lot of control time throughout the rounds. I mean, like try to set it up with some striking. Like pretend like he's gonna strike, but just did the blast double leg, and facts, and just get him to the ground, and it's get the control time. I think it's gonna be a 30-27, kind of like Nikki said. My man Anakin Skywalker's in the chat. Want to give a shout out to my man Anakin. What's up, man? Yeah, he gave his input on this fight too, man. He said this fight is tricky, but he also has Logren by decision. That's really the vibe on this fight, man. I really think he's gonna come in here, just be aggressive, man. And also, you don't want to be 0-2 inside the UFC, so I think he's gonna play smart, play safe, come in and get the victory, and that's it. Like that's all it really comes down to.
What I was gonna say, man, is like one thing I forgot to mention about Logren is like this guy's style is pretty intriguing, right? This guy throws massive shots, like big overhand rights, and he throws big shots to actually set up his takedowns, to get those double legs. And Taylor Lapilus in his first fight Taylor Lapilus is known for having really solid takedown defense. I mean, you look at Taylor Lapilus versus Javid Basharat. Basharat's an excellent grappler, and Javid Basharat could barely keep down Lapilus. And that was just kind of the same story with the Callum Logren fight. Logren would take down Lapilus. Lapilus would get taken down, but he's got a great get-up game. And, man, I think if you can take down Lapilus, man, I think you're more than so going to dominate Angel Pacheco on the ground. And I like the over 2.5 here in this fight. I'd love to get your opinion on that. But, I would hate for Callum Logren to, potentially get a finish. But I do like the over 2.5. So I like to hear your guys' thoughts on that.
You can go ahead, Nikki. How you feel about it?
Like over 2.5 rounds. See, the thing with Pacheco is like very high intensity. He is moving weight classes, but he could easily like just overwhelm Colin. So I like we said, we're all going decision, so I do like it.
Grapple versus striker, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like that's the game plan, but it's always the game plan until you get punched in the face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's about whether like Pacheco is going to overwhelm him or Logren's just going to drown him with the wrestling. That's exactly how.
You said he's a meat block, so if that's true, like if he comes out and he could eat a few punches and if he could eat a few punches to get to the clinch, I mean that's what he needs to do.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
And I think you will. Hey, yo, the boy Fire Realm. Y'all go subscribe to the boy Fire Realm. He just got done doing a breakdown himself of this card with Pick 'em MMA, another friend of the channel, of AJ's as well, the whole community, you feel me?
Yeah, man.
Absolutely, man. Go subscribe to the boy Fire Realm. Great content. Super nice guy as well. Super nice, always super chill. Thanks for joining us tonight, Fire Realm. Love having you in the chat, bro. And yeah, I mean, I think it'll probably go over the 2.5. Like I said, I really think Kalen wants to come out and just get the victory in his sophomore outing in the UFC. He has that minus 375 favorite by his name, according to Tapology. I think that's really indicative of just the game plan. I mean, I get it. That plus 290 is looking pretty good. for Pacheco, the guys trying to make that money, especially for a guy that came out and lost his UFC debut. But I get it. But it's just for me, and like I said, I think just like all the intangible, all the optics of this fight, I really think that with Logren being 27 years old, I think he's really gonna really digest the film from that, really swallow that pill that's really that sucks, and I really think he's gonna come out and try to get a bounce back. According to the fans online, most got him getting a TKO finish, and we're over here saying he's gonna get the wrestling in control. So we'll see what happens, man. Anyone could do anything in a fight, But yeah, moving on though to the next fight of the night, matchup in the middleweight division. Now it's time for Petrosky and Malkoun. Yeah, I know this is your countryman, AJ, so you can have this one too, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm just gonna say this right now. I've been in a couple of live chats, like when I've had time this week when I'm not working. In that, I've been on a couple of shows of like people discussing these fights and that. And when we get to the Jacob Malkoun fight, I'm in the chat, I'm hammering the Malkoun all day, I'm being extremely biased. And there's people that don't like that, there's people telling me like, God, bro, like Malkoun's a bomb, like, you know what I mean? Like Malkoun's not even that good. And I'm just like, dude, like you have to watch out what you say, because I'm not really going to get into it. But the point that I do want to make, man, is I've been watching Jacob Malkoun fight for a long time. And sure, he's not the most exciting fighter of all time. He barely gets finishes. I understand that. He's not like a fun fighter to watch. But from a technical point, I really do enjoy watching his wrestling. He's only been in the UFC for like 3-4 years, and he already holds like some significant middleweight history stats when it comes to takedowns and that. Like I don't want to get into it, but he's a very good grappler, man. Like he trains out of Gracie Barra out of Sydney with Robert Whittaker, and they have a great gym there. A lot of great fighters. And the point that I want to make is, Jacob Malkoun at this point in his career, I feel like he's really just has not had the proper opportunities to shine. And who has he beat? He beat Abdul Razak Al-Hassan. He out-grappled him. He beat Nick Maximov, AJ Dobson. Like he has the ability to out-grapple guys. And I do think that he's got, he's fought the better competition than a guy like Andre Petrosky. What I will say though, Jacob Malkoun, a lot of people look at the loss he had against Phil Hawes, like where he got like knocked out in like 30 seconds, and people are really looking into that a bit too much. Like I don't think people realize that was Phil Hawes at his peak. When Phil Hawes was actually dangerous and he actually had a chin, with all due respect. But for me, I will say this right now though, if you do want to throw a bet on this fight, I like the no decision bet for Andre Petrosky. I think if he does win, it's inside the distance. But then again, man, I'm not that impressed with Andre Petrosky. I really mean that. And it's like a lot of people think I'm not impressed with Petrosky because of his last fight against Pereira, where he just got destroyed in like a minute. I think Pereira would destroy Malkoun as well. The point that I want to get to, I just think Petrosky has about a round and a half of gas. And that's about it. You know what I'm saying? Like he arguably lost to GM3, and that was a really bad look for me. I'm just not that sold on a guy like Andre Petrosky, because you just have to ask yourself, like, what happens if he doesn't even get the finish? Like he's just gonna get out grappled. Malkoun is gonna absolutely just wear on him the whole fight. And like I keep saying, man, I think Malkoun's one of the most underrated middleweights on the roster. He's got an excellent jab. He's a boring fighter, but Leon Edwards is a boring fighter as well. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just genuinely saying how it is. And I feel like a jab can really dictate a fight in general. And if Jacob Malkoun can just poke that jab in Petrosky's face, I think Petrosky's gonna have a really hard time. He doesn't have the best head movement. He like telegraphs his punches, so it's gonna make it even easier for Malkoun to take him down. And yeah, to keep it nice and simple, because I could talk about this fight for about 40 minutes. I like Jacob Malkoun by decision. That's just what it is. I think he wins probably 2 rounds out of 3. I think Petrosky's gonna come out hard in the first round, try and finish Malkoun. And I think Malkoun is honestly just going to show him what's up, bro. I really do. I like Jacob Malkoun by decision. And, man, I'd love to hear your take on this fight, guys.
Yeah, man, I can go ahead and get mine second. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. What's up, Pick'em? Yo, what's up, Pick'em MMA? Another friend of the channel, like we just mentioned. Y'all go subscribe to the boy Pick'em MMA. He's a super nice guy. Just like the boy Fight Realm is. Like, the whole community's really chill. Go subscribe to Pick'em MMA. Super cool dude. Super consistent with this content. Always live streaming. Always putting out lots of the weeks. always putting out, his pick videos like a week, 2 weeks ahead of time, and like he always feeds his subscribers, like always giving out community posts saying like if you guys want this, breakdown at this time, like like the future of a future fight card, he'll do it if he gets the like stuff like that, like really cool dude. Great guy. Please go subscribe to his channel. And yeah, man, for me, when it comes to this fight, I was gonna go Jacob Malkoun, man. I remember when Andre Petroski had lost to Brian Battle on the Ultimate Fighter, and like I feel like his gas tank issues were prevalent back then. I really feel like that's really, really, really bad when you're going into a fight with Jacob Malkoun just because of his pressure. We saw that Phil Haas was able to stifle Jacob Malkoun. He was like 25 years old back then. Like that was like his UFC debut back at UFC 254. Yeah, he had like 4 fights in total. You feel me? Yeah. So I just feel like that was a massive learning experience for Jacob Malkoun. And yeah, I mean, I think he's gonna play no games. This probably will be a wrestling match, and I think it's gonna be hard to beat him at his own game. When it comes to Petroski, who's also a good wrestler, but at that point, it comes down to how long can they wrestle. And I think Jacob can wrestle like extremely hard, all 15 minutes with a lot of pressure. Yes, and yeah, I don't know Petroski is. I don't know if Andre's going to come forward and really try to, if he'll be able to knock out Malkoun. I think Malkoun's really good at slipping under the offense of his opponents and just like really imposing his role, imposing the game plan, just getting the fight to the ground. So I'm gonna go with the Mamba in this matchup.
Mamba mentality. Yes,
hey, always rest in peace to 24. Always, but yeah, Nikki, you can bring us home, bro.
Yeah. So I just think Petroski has a knockout chance, and that's like his only way that I see him winning this fight. And you got to be careful. Like you don't just pick a fighter just because they have knockout chance. It really depends on the opponent then. And with all the Australian fighters, they're really similar. They just all like fundamentally fight really well. That's what they're good at. Like you look at JDM and Volk, they just all do the right things for however long the fight goes. Yeah. I'm gonna be on the same boat. I'm taking Malkoun by decision. He's gonna get hit in this fight. He just has to weather. You know what I mean? If Petroski hits you, it's gonna hurt. That's the only thing. He hits you with one of those overhands or something, and you're gonna feel it. So it just depends how well he can eat his punches. But I don't think it's gonna be just a one and done knockout.
Yeah. So I agree.
A full sweep there.
Yep, it's another one. We'll see how long these agreements last. We'll see how long they last. Sure. You feel me? Yeah, but moving on though, Melissa Gatto versus Victoria Dudikova. I saw some people online saying that Melissa Gatto kind of looks like Miranda Cosgrove, the lead actress of iCarly. Yeah, she does kind of look like her. It's pretty crazy.
She's like way older because Cosgrove looks super young, like in every picture of her.
Yeah.
Even now, it's still pretty crazy. But yeah, I can go ahead and give my pick for the fight. It's a close one, as you can tell by the odds. Really, really close fight when you dig into it. You can see the betting odds, really happy to have this fight on this card, like for women's MMA, definitely a good matchup. But yeah, man, for me in this fight, I was going to go with Dudikova, bro. There was reports of a staph infection in her last performance, unfortunately. Of course, we are all extremely happy that, she made it to this fight now. She's back healthy. Happy that she rested up in the hospital, took her antibiotics, did whatever she had to do. She's still a good prospect, man. We know she got taken down by Jin Yu Fry, but I feel like, again, that was a product of her illness that she was dealing with in that fight. If you see her on the regional scene, she's really showed a lot. Like she's a good striker, fairly well-rounded, in my opinion. Just really has to come out here and just have a better performance in her debut. I do think she really is a good fighter, especially for her age. At 25 years old, just turned 25, super young. So she's only going to be getting better literally every single day. And being that young and hungry, I know she's watching her film. She really wants to keep her own for sure. I'm not just going off how Melissa Gatto's on a 2-fight losing streak. I still think that Gatto is a good fighter herself. for what she's shown in the cage, I still like obviously like she has more UFC experience than Dudikova does, and you could definitely make the case that she's faced the better competition. I mean, yeah, man, like she's a really good fighter. Coming off the losses to Ariana Lipski and Tracy Cortez, those aren't too bad losses to have. We know she's 2-2 at the UFC. Her wins came against Victoria Leonardo and Sajara Eubanks. Not really the best competition. So I do think that this is a fight where Gatto has to prove herself, being the UFC veteran in this matchup at a relatively young age herself at 28. But excuse me. Yeah, that was my pick though. I was gonna go with Dudikova via decision. My boy Pick'em said via staff. But I'm gonna he's funny. Yeah, shout out to Pick'em MMA, like we said. And again, happy to see Victoria Dudikova recover from her staph infection. To be back in the cage. And like I said, I still think she's a really good fighter. Coming off that debut that really got some fans off her bandwagon. And I'm gonna go with Victoria by decision. How you feeling, Nikki?
Yeah, so I think Victoria is also moving up in weight class now. She's her last fight.
Yeah, the strawweight. Yes, it was strawweight.
Yeah, so she's moving up 10 pounds. And was it her? I thought Gatto was the one who had this staph in her last fight.
No, it was Dudikova.
It was? Okay, man, I just wrote it down wrong. But I mean, yeah, that's gonna like mess up a fight. Obviously, you can't wrestle with her situation in the last fight at all.
Right.
So you're gonna see a whole different fighter from her last fight. So it's only so much you can take from that. And like you said, Antoine, Gatto's last two opponents are definitely good. I didn't write down anyone, but I was leaning towards Dudikova for this one by decision. There was a few fights I was just having trouble really picking someone. Like I said, I like to go off of the last fight more than like the last five or whatever, because the last fight's the freshest you got. And if we didn't see her full potential in that last fight, it's hard because like for all we know, she might come out and look 10 times better than she did. You know what I mean? So it's hard. I'm gonna take Dudikova though on this one.
Got you. How you feeling, AJ?
Definitely. Yeah. So oh man, this is a 50-50, man. I mean, you guys are really trying to sway me to picking Dudikova here, but I'm gonna just go with Melissa Gatto, man. You know what I mean? This is a 50-50 fight.
It's very close indeed.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, like I just feel like I'm really not that sold on Victoria Dudikova. Like I do think she's actually a solid prospect. I mean, like even in her debut, like when she got the arm injury TKO, she hit like a really, really nice, like it was kind of like an Imanari roll type of sweep to like take it down. I'd never seen that before, so I was extremely impressed with her. But yeah, I like Melissa Gatto in this fight. I think although Gatto hasn't fought the best competition, she's got the experience. She has a good win outside the UFC over Carol Rosa, which I think is actually a very good win. Pardon me. And Melissa Gatto as well, man. She's a. I just want to say this real quick. She's on like all the juice. Like I just really sneakily say that she's like. Yeah, she's roided up, bro. I just got to get that out there. But I think regardless, though, that's going to help her out. And the point that I do want to make is Dudikova, her last fight, having staph and all that, like, although she won, like, it just wasn't the best look for me. She got taken down by Jinu Frey, and I just don't like seeing that, to be honest with you. Yeah, Melissa Gatto, I think she's the better striker. I think she's got the better kicks. I think she kind of knows how to fight out of distance. I just think she has more experience. I think she's kind of pretty hungry too. I think she really wants to, prove a point in this fight against an upcoming prospect like Dudikova. And if, you really have to ask yourself, like, if Dudikova can't get the wrestling going, like, what's going to happen in this fight? I think Melissa Gatto is going to keep the fight at range and kind of piece her up. And yeah, I like Gatto by unanimous decision here. I'm not going to be surprised if they like rob Melissa Gatto and just give it to Dudikova. But I like the favor here, Melissa Gatto. I think she's the favorite for a reason. I wouldn't disagree. I wouldn't doubt anybody that's trying to take Dudikova as the dog here. I mean, this is kind of like a dog or pass fight. But man, I think Melissa Gatto has a point to prove. I really do. And I like her experience. I like, her kickboxing in general. She's got solid stand-up. Hasn't fought the best competition, obviously, but neither has Victoria Dudikova. And Melissa Gatto's last fight was a split decision loss to Ariane Lipski, and Lipski's pretty good, as far as I'm concerned. So I like Gatto in this fight. I think she keeps the fight on the feet. I think she stops the takedowns. She kind of controls the fight from out of range, and I think she's their favorite for a reason. But no bet for me here, obviously. I'm probably just gonna bet the over 2.5. It's obviously a safe bet.
No, I get it, man. Yo, and hey, man, Fire Realm is agreeing with you in the chat. He got
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, no, you saw that. Yeah, man. And also shout out to the boy Ty Bets in the chat. Really cool guy as well. Always in all the live chats that I'm in too. He's a really nice guy. Shout out to Ty Bets, been really great guy. And y'all go hit up Ty for some bets, if y'all want to make some money, please do.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, man, go ahead and moving on to the next one. We have a rematch in the light heavyweight division. I'm gonna go ahead and get mine first, I guess.
Hell yeah.
So the first time they fought, Anton defeated Ebo with a rear naked choke. The pleasure, man. He's on a rough streak, man. He's his last three, especially the Tyson Pedro loss. That was really bad for him. It's just really unfortunate. I mean, for the pleasure, man. He came in with a lot of confidence. I remember seeing his spinning back fist knockout right there, 13 seconds on the regional scene. That went viral on. Yeah, that went viral on Twitter one night, and that was just super insane. That's like that. Yeah, and then he kind of had an iffy performance on a Contender Series, he won it by decision. And Dana doesn't usually give out no contract for a decision, but he still did it, so I guess Dana kind of saw what I saw, and maybe his regional scene performance, maybe he just got nervous of the bright lights of the UFC, but then he came in, Vitor Petrino is really good, and obviously Jilton Almeida is too. So, I do feel like the first two, you really got to cut him some slack. But that's why I mentioned, before I even said these last two fights, the Tyson Pedro loss was bad, man. That was a -110. He really could have won that fight. And for it to end so one-sided like that with the first round KO, and I get it. The moment probably got to him. He was fighting Tyson Pedro in his home country, all that kind of stuff, that was honestly a recipe for disaster for Anton. But it's just it's hard, man, because it's the UFC normally when they have a situation like this and they have a dude coming off 3 losses, they try to give him to a guy they know that might have some potential, but that guy happens to have already lost to Anton Turkalj. So is it are they trying to get him a win over a guy he beat already, or are they trying to get this Ebo dude to his vengeance? So it's a hard. The only reason I was kind of I agree. But the only reason I was kind of iffy on Ebo, man, if you look at his competition, he hasn't really beaten the best dudes, bro, in terms of the regional scene. I get it, man. That 12-1 record looks really good, but at the same time, man, you're knocking out dudes that are 18-21, 6-7, 8-14. He beat a 12-2 dude on Paulo Renato Jr. on Contender Series to get his UFC contract. So I do think that that's showing that he I feel that was a case of momentum. Sometimes it doesn't matter who you're in there against. If you're on fire, you can get the job done. You feel me? I guess that's really one of the reasons why I'm gonna go with Ebo, man. I'm gonna go with Ebo in this fight. I feel like that's one of the biggest reasons why I am going with Ebo. I think he already has a lot of momentum. Coming on a 4-fight win streak. All by way of finish, all 4 wins by way of finish. I get it. 2 of the dudes, 5-9, 18-21, and the other, that third guy, 6-7. But I think it's more so about the mindset that he's in right now. I think he's just gonna really, really want to get this loss back from Anton Turkalj. Anton Turkalj obviously is back, is against the wall, trying to come out and get this victory against a guy he's beaten already. But sometimes it doesn't go like that. Sometimes, just because you won the first fight doesn't mean you'll win the second fight, You can fight 10 times and then go 5-5. So for this in particular, I really think that Ipo is going to use the momentum that he's gathered coming off these knockouts, especially on Contender Series like that, where he beat that 12-2 dude. He rose to the occasion there. And I really feel like he's going to use that momentum. And in like just knowing that he's fighting the only guy to beat him, I think that's going to light a massive fire under Ibo Aslan. And with that being said, I'm going to go with Ibo, man. But like y'all see the betting odds though, like it's pretty close, man. So like pick at your own discussion. Of course. But I was going to go with Ibo. How you feeling, Nikki?
Yeah, so obviously this is a rematch, right? So there's bad blood between these two. Ebo's gonna want his revenge, and then Anton obviously needs this win because he's on a 3-fight losing streak. You lose this one, you're a foot out the door. I don't know what his contract's at, but if this is his 4th fight on his contract, he's out the door with this loss.
0-4.
100% this fight is made as a revenge fight for Ebo, right? Dana wants him to win this fight. Like, I think it's obvious as day. But at the same time, Anakin said it perfectly. He gasses out, and if you're someone like Anton, who's a crazy fighter, right? He's really wild the way he fights. It's dangerous to gas out against him because they're both going to be swinging for knockouts early. Like they know how each other fight. The feel out process is going to be quick, and then they're just going to be shooting to kill each other. And I think it's gonna wear him out, and I think Anton's gonna get another sub in this fight. So I'm gonna say he's gonna go 2-0 in the rivalry. Get a second submission win.
How you feeling, AJ?
I like that, man. I really like that take, man. I mean, pardon me. I'm not gonna go against anyone picking anybody in this fight. Like this is a legit pick and fight. Like one thing.
You should never know. Like, you never know what's gonna happen, man. You can only do so much. Man, you can only say so much, man. Like for real.
I'm just saying though, man. Like I just want to say this, bro. Like if you guys want to pull it up on Tapology right now, like you have to look at Iber Aslan's competition. Like this guy is literally Iber Aslan has fought absolute scrubs in his career. Like he fought like a 5'11" guy in his last like. I don't like just go double check it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not
facts.
Like what is it? Like 5 and 8, like 18-21, like 8 and 14. Like these are absolutely disgusting like competition to be going up against. With all due respect,
but then you had a 4-0. Then you got 12-2. So it's like
no. Look, I'm not gonna like disagree, but I just think
No, I get it, bro. I get it 100%. Like this, I mean, because I picked Anton to beat Tyson Pedro, and he got knocked out in the first round, man. So it's like, no, for sure, I get it, for sure, bro.
This is not how MMA works, bro. Like, and Anton is definitely live here, man. I definitely see it. I mean, never in my life will I be, trying to predict an Iber Aslan fight. I'm just not like sold on the competition he's for, and I'm really with Nikki here. I made my prediction earlier in the week. I think Nikki like joined the live stream very late on.
There. You gave me my info.
Yeah. That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. But yeah. I got Anton Takali, man. Look, the Tyson Pedro loss is just disgusting. I mean, that's like half the reason I want to go against him here. But I feel like we kind of forget, man. Like, Vitor Petrino was really struggling with Anton Takali. I don't know how people feel about that, but I remember watching that fight and just being like, man, if Anton Takali had any better of a fight IQ, he could definitely most 100% beat Vitor Petrino. But I just feel like Takali's had a really rough schedule in the UFC. I mean, Jaltana made it in your UFC debut. You're getting finished, fought Vitor Petrino. Petrino is just he's literally an unfair fighter. He's absolutely juiced to the gills. He's going to knock out a lot of people, and he's just got a massive physical advantage over people. And really, the only bad loss is Tyson Pedro, and that's just it's just a bad loss to have. But then again, like Pedro did beat Paul Craig, he did beat Khalil Roundtree. I know that's a long time ago, but I like Anton Takali here, man. I think that Iber Aslan. I think this guy. One thing I'm going to say, Antoine, is I do believe that Aslan is honestly going to try, possibly fight with emotions, and that's not going to end well for him, man. You know what I mean? Anton Takali is definitely live here. I think a lot of people are looking at the under 1.5 here. I think the under 1.5 is a good choice, but this is also one of those fights where I think it honestly ends like in the later half of round 2, and I think it honestly ends exactly how the first fight played out. Like Iber Aslan goes after Anton Takali, tries to beat him up. Takali's going to be able to block shots, and I don't know what that knockout was in his last fight with Tyson Pedro. Like I just don't think he honestly showed up. Like he looked stiff as hell in that fight, and I'm just not sold on Iber Aslan, man. I really don't. I think that to be honest with you, Takali's the more well-rounded MMA fighter, and if this fight goes long, I think Takali's honestly just gonna just drown him. I think we're gonna visibly see Iber Aslan struggle really badly, and he's gonna probably start gassing out. I think that Takali is gonna be looking for that win he's been looking for his whole UFC career. He's gonna be walking down Iber Aslan. Hopefully he doesn't get chinned, but I can see him, getting a weird takedown on Iber Aslan, getting the back, maybe submitting him. I just like Anton Takali here, whether it's a decision, whether it's a submission victory. I'm not that sold on Iber Aslan, and I obviously respect anyone going on the Iber Aslan side. But yeah, this is like a pick and fight, man. This is really just a pick and fight. It's very interesting considering these two have already fought each other. But give me Anton Takali as the dog here to get his first UFC win. I like what Nicky said.
Yeah, nah, man, I get it 100%. It's either that Anton's going to be able to just be the kryptonite for Iber Aslan, or Iber's just going to really learn from the mistakes that happened 4 years ago. Like, we know that was a long time ago, it being 4 years ago. And he came out, and, that's the only fight that he's lost since then. So I just really, and again, I know you got to, again, you got to fight who you're given. And, I didn't think he'd win the fight on Contender Series, but when he won that kind of gave me a little bit of hope. But like we just said, anything can happen in a fight. I just really think he's gonna watch the mistakes he made 4 years ago and know that he cannot, lose this fight. Of course, in reality, he won't really, go through much because he'll just be 0-1. He can, in another fight continue on. Anton's the one that really needs this win, so it's a really perplexing fight. Really interesting fight to say the least. And it definitely literally doesn't matter. I've seen so many fights where it's it's to the point where anything can happen in this shit, and and that's just what it is. You feel me?
I do want to say this. I do want to say this real quick, Nicky. I feel like if Iber Aslan is patient and he's very patient out there, and he's just just trying to find that shot, but he's nice and patient, throwing a bunch of feints here. It could be like a very quick night in the office for Iber Aslan. It just depends if he comes in this fight, trying to, knock this dude's head off.
Knock his head off, right, with emotion, right? Now I get it, 100%. Yeah, man, it's a close fight. Moving on though, for sure. Connor Matthews versus Dennis Bazookia. I always mess up this dude's last name as if it's like Bazooka, But yeah, Bazooka. Yeah.
Cool name there, Bazooka.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, facts. Yeah, you go ahead and give your pick first, AJ. Go ahead.
Yeah, so man, I've been very 50-50 on this fight, right? This is actually one of those fights where I've been
right.
I've been very just hypothetical on what I like here, and I'm gonna take Dennis Bazooka, man. I'm gonna take Dennis Bazooka. I was very high on Connor Matthews early in the week. But that Francis Marshall loss to me really stands out, man. You know what I mean? With all due respect, I see that Francis Marshall loss, and I just don't know how good Francis Marshall is actually. And from what I've seen from Connor Matthews, he really hasn't fought the best of our competition. He fought Jay Ellis, and if you guys know who Jay Ellis is, Jay
the legend.
The legend himself. He has over 90 losses, and he's just great in the sport. You know what I mean? An underappreciated legend. Mm-hmm. But yeah, with that being said, man, I don't really see much in Connor Matthews. He's a tough guy. He's durable. He's probably going to win this fight, if I'm going to be honest. But all I see with him is some okay boxing, and that's about it. And I don't really think he has the power of a Jamal Emmers to knock out Dennis Bazooka. I think Jamal Emmers has got sneaky power for 145er. But I like Dennis Bazooka here, man. I'm really going to pick Dennis off of the experience factor. Look, he's lost both his UFC fights, but if you ask me right now, would Connor Matthews lose to Sean Woodson and Jamal Emmers? I would say absolutely 100%.
Sean Woodson's underrated as hell.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Woodson made Charles Jourdain look easy, and I never even thought that. And Bazooka honestly had a tough fight with Woodson. Yes, Woodson won very not easily, but he won very convincingly. But dude, I'm telling you right now, Bazooka was pushing a pace, staying in his face, eating his shots, like eating his body rips. Like Sean Woodson, like when he hits people to the body most of the time, like they usually crumble. Like honestly, but Bazooka's very tough. He's very game. He can take shots all day. He can push a pace. He's he walks down people. And I think this is a very similar situation. I'm gonna say this right now. I think it's a very similar situation to the Jono Aaron's Steven Yuen fight, right? Like everybody was, betting on Steven Yuen. Everybody was very confident and high on Steven Yuen. And I just kept saying it to myself, like I'm not sold on Steven Yuen at all. Like I just don't see what the hype is around this guy. I know a lot of people are betting on this guy, but I would just take the dog and Jono Aaron's. And we saw Jono Aaron's go out there and put work on Steven Yuen, get his first UFC victory. And I think we're going to kind of see a similar situation there. I think that's a bit too much hype on Conor Matthews. Although Bazooka's the favorite, I think he does get this done, man. I think he's going to push a pace. I think he's going to be able to take all the shots of Conor Matthews. I think he's going to walk down Conor Matthews most of the time in this fight. And I feel like people really shouldn't be surprised if like Bazooka gets like a late stoppage, like a third round TKO, just like an exhaustion stoppage. I like the experience factor here for a guy like Bazooka, man. He fought Melsik Bagdasarian. Every notable guy he's fought in his career, he's lost. But you cannot sit here and tell me that Conor Matthews would beat Melsik Bagdasarian, he would beat Sean Woodson, he'd beat Jamal Emmers. You know what I mean? I think Conor Matthews gets smoked by all these guys. So really, this is just a fight between two guys who probably should not be in the UFC. That's what I would just say, to be honest with you. And we just saw our boy Antoine just disappear. So
oh no.
But yeah, let me take Dennis Bazooka here, man. I got Bazooka. I like the experience factor. I like his durability. I like the pace that he can set. And I think he's gonna fraud check Conor Matthews, man. I think he's gonna really show Conor Matthews what's up. But let's see your take, Nikki, bro. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, man. This one's tough. Like you just don't got enough to like talk about. But yeah. I think that Conor might be a little better overall.
Yeah.
He just might be a little more well balanced as a fighter compared to Dennis, who's really good at like putting his strikes together. Also, I saw some YouTube video or whatever it was of Conor. He served, that's like just like Anakin said, he was in the Air Force. That really puts a lot on you as a fighter. It's like you're durable. You got the grit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's about to be the next PhD.
Wasn't enough for Dennis. What's his name?
Dennis Bazooka.
No. Dude just fought Poirier.
BSD.
Saying that, it wasn't enough for him, but
yeah,
definitely is a lot extra. A little more for you as a fighter. I'm taking Conor Matthews in this one. I have sub or decision. I have no clue which way it's gonna go.
I like that.
I feel like we just look down here. The see sub and decision. Some people feel it could go both ways. Anton, you weren't here. I just said I'm taking Conor in this fight. I got him by sub or decision.
Sub or decision? Yeah, man. This lets you know how close this fight is. I came in just in time, huh? Yeah, man. Conor Matthews and Dennis, bro. It's a close one. I was going with Conor Matthews too, man. I was. I'm really big on momentum. I get it. Like Dennis has had two rough stretches in terms of opponents. Both are really good for sure. And we never know how Conor Matthews would fare against them. Of course they could fight, we could find out. And would I pick Jamal Emmers to beat Conor? Probably would. I'm not gonna lie. Definitely for sure. I'm not gonna hold you. I probably would. But at the same time, man, I really feel like, again, coming off these two wins for Conor Matthews, he's just really riding high right now. And for Dennis, again, I know it's really a matter of competition for who Dennis has fought. But I really think that Conor can really come out here to really use what he's learned in his last two victories, keep on track with his momentum. He has decent wrestling. I do agree with Nikki. I do think he will be able to get the fight to the ground. Get the control time, and honestly, maybe get a submission. I'm feeling that way too. The boy Pick'em said under 2.5 parlay piece. We'll see how it goes. Got my boy NIHL. MMA.
Yo, what's up? That's my boy right there.
What's up, man? Thank you so much for joining us, bro. Blessed to have you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, yo, I kind of felt the same way that with what he just said right here, man. Like when I watched Dennis on the Contender Series, like Dana was livid with Dennis's fight, and like Dana didn't want to give him a contract. You feel me? And like that kind of let me know that like, man, like, okay, first and foremost, like I respect all fighters who like literally just for stepping in there and fighting in front of that many people, because I feel like people really underrate that aspect of the sport, fighting in front of that many people. Sure. But I mean, I feel like it's like even on the Contender Series fight, based off what I've seen like other fighters do, he wasn't in there trying to like take the dude's head off when he was like pressing forward. I feel like he was more so really just trying to like score the points and win the fight, which I definitely get it, man. Like win the fight however you can and win the fight. But it just like it did normally like these dudes have like something special, whether like it's like most have like good power. Most UFC fighters are gonna have relatively good power. The ones that are winning for the most part, they're gonna have good power to hurt the opponent. So much power that it's gonna force the opponent to want to grapple, and that's when they have such good grappling that they can grapple with them when it hits the ground, get a club and sub, stuff like that, and he didn't really go forward and really like try to. Of course, he tried to hurt the opponent, but he wasn't really able to, and like even like throughout the duration of a 3-round fight. And I feel like Dana felt the same way, and of course, this dude's a world-class martial artist. I'm not gonna act like he isn't. But I think Connor Matthews has looked a little bit better in his last couple outings. It's really a matter of just a close fight, man. Dennis, of course, has a great camp with Ray Longo and Matt Serra, of course, the Longo Serra gym. And up in New York, they got Chris Weidman, of course, who's fighting on this card. Aljamain Sterling, and two future Hall of Famers. So definitely coming from a good camp, but we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty sure Charalampos Gregorio also trains at Longo Weidman. Longo Serra, and he couldn't get his fight done the other day. So it was pretty unfortunate. But again, like I do think that he is a good fighter though. Shout out to Dennis again for just stepping in there. And yeah, man, I was gonna go with Connor in this fight. And yeah, man, just like that. Good fight though. Yeah. Good fight. Honestly, looking forward to it. Should be entertaining. Boys are gonna come out and strike. I really feel that way. But now we have one of the biggest favorites on the card. You go ahead and have this fight, AJ. Go ahead, bro.
You know what? I want to hear Nikki's take on this fight real quick. I want Nikki to go first.
My take is that Burton's gonna gas out after the first round.
Yeah,
that's my take. I got RC winning this one. I didn't give him a method.
Me too.
It's hard. I do think Herb's it's gonna be over 1.5. I like the over 1.5 for this one. That would probably be I feel like it's a good parlay piece on this one.
Yeah.
Because Herb could definitely survive the first, but then he's just gonna come into the second round like visually like just slower in the fight. And RC's just gonna take control of that. Probably I'm gonna go with the decision. I'll give him I'll go 2-1 rounds. You know what I mean? I'll take RC in this fight.
Yeah, man. I like RC as well. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no way you can bet on Herbert Burns, the Blaze Burns. They call him the Blaze because he's an absolute killer in the first round and then he's an absolute stinker when the second round hits. But yeah, man. I mean, Herbert Burns is honestly kind of live here. He's an extremely dangerous fighter in the first round. He can definitely submit people and he can knock people out too. I mean, he knocked out Nate Landwehr in the most flukiest win ever, right?
Yeah.
Nice clinch, kneed him straight in the face and just carried him like that. But Herbert Burns is coming off a TKO loss, which was an exhaustion loss. He literally quit in that fight and had his brother carry him out the stadium, and that's just incredibly bad. That's just such a bad look. You know what I'm saying? There's no way you can be betting on a guy like that. Yeah, I was very surprised at the odds when I saw the people are really hammering money on Julio Arce, but I think it's for good reason, man. I think Arce is actually a very good fighter.
Me too.
In a division like bantamweight, I think he's not going to make the rankings, but there's no problem with that considering how stacked the division is. I just think Arce is really good. I think he's like 8 times better at least than Herbert Burns, and I like Julio Arce here by second round TKO. I really don't care like what method he wins by. I just think Arce will get the job done. I'm actually yeah, like my boy Anakin says, second round TKO. I like that. But I'm actually gonna be staying away from this fight just in general, like betting perspective wise, because yeah, we've seen this time and time again. You know, like not that Herbert Burns is gonna win, but I remember when a lot of people were betting on Kennedy and Zetsukuria, and I stayed away from that fight in general because I was never gonna be betting Kennedy at like minus 500. And even before, like Javid Basharat, when he was like a massive favorite over Ayman Zahabi, then he just gets completely exposed. I'm just not into that super wide money lines. You know what I mean? I don't care how good of a fighter you are. Like I'm just gonna stay away from that fight. So no betting for me on this fight, but it's a pretty clear Julio Arce win here. That's just what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I wasn't gonna go with Arce, but like a third round TKO. Just really look good through rounds 1 and 2. Probably like a second, third round TKO. That's if Burns like has really worked on his gas tank. He's been out for a while. I think about a year and 8 months, something like that, almost 2 years. Hasn't gotten a win in like 4 years. So I know this is definitely a really big fight for Herbert. If you look closely on embedded for UFC 299, he was training with his brother, of course. You could see he was training really, really hard in the gym. And yeah, man, it's really just a matter of, I feel like, of his motivation for this fight. I still think he has a decent skill set. Really good grappler, decent striker. But I really think he's a better grappler. But I think Arce will be able to stuff the takedowns. They really just have a better gas tank. I think he'll be in better shape for this fight. He's the younger fighter, not by much, but still the younger fighter. And yeah, I mean, I think he'll be able to outlast him. Herbert's gonna be really aggressive in the first round, trying to get the fight to the ground and chase that submission. He's really aggressive how he'll chain his submissions. That's kind of how he gassed out versus Bill Algeo, And yeah, man, I'm gonna go with Julio in this fight, just like the rest of the boys in the chat. Shout out to my boy Anakin. Yeah, man.
Over 1.5. He says, Nahil says over 1.5.
1.5.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, me too. I do see that. I do see that.
I could see it coming right down to the wire, though. You know what I mean? Like the knockout could happen just past 1.5. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the line is just way too wide, bro. Like it's gotten to a point for me where I'm just never touching these guys who are like massive favorites. I'll say it again, like the Nzechukwu fight. You know what I mean? Like everybody's betting on Nzechukwu. I'm like, dude, like this guy just got. He should beat OSP, but I would never in my life be betting a guy that's minus 500 like Kennedy and Zetsukuria. And I learned my lesson from Javid Basharat. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, hey, we'll see what happens though, man. Hopefully Burns worked on this gas tank when he was out. Next fight though, we got Virna Jandiroba versus Lupi Godinez. Lupi Godinez, yeah, facts. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Of course, like I said, I respect all fighters, but she was looking pretty good during that ceremonial weigh-in. We're recording this at 12:40 Saturday morning, so we got a chance to actually watch the weigh-ins before going live, and I thought she was looking pretty good, man. She made weight. You feel me? So I thought she was looking pretty good. But yeah, Nikki, you give your pick first on this one. Go ahead.
I'm going with Lupi in this one. Listen, I was on a big Tabitha Ricci hype train, and in my head, I'm like, yo, how the hell did she lose that fight? And it made me realize that Lupi is just really good at stealing the rounds from you, that you visually can't see it if you're watching or if you're like too blinded by your pick. I had no clue how Tabitha lost that fight, but I like it wasn't something I'm calling rigged because the whole fight I'm seeing Lupi just like do the right things, you know what I mean? So you can't even get mad at her about it. Plus now she's training over with Diego Lopez and Alexa Grasso, so her jiu-jitsu is going to be out of this world, dude. Like that gym produces insane jiu-jitsu. You've seen it. I mean, Alexa submitted Valentina, and he went head to head with Mobsar. So I'm 100% with Lupi on this one. I don't even know what I wrote down for. I put her by decision.
Yeah, excellent.
But yeah, man, for the second time, I'm going to go ahead and say mine too. I was going with Lupi by decision too. I think her pressure is going to be really, really hard for Virna. That's really going to be a grappler on grappler matchup. I think piece made for the grappling scrambles, with her gas tank, really physically strong, little woman, really good in the scrambles. Like I said, she has good jiu-jitsu too. I do think she'll be able to grapple with this girl, really hold her down in certain positions. I can just see them like clenching up against the cage, to be real, like really just trying to force a takedown down, but she can't get her down, so she just has her against the cage, just racking up control time. I really feel like Luby can get it done. Damn, man, I feel like that's what everyone is saying for this fight. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Of course, we never share picks before going live. But yeah, I was going to go with Lupi by decision. Apparently, that's what everyone else is thinking too. Great minds think alike, boys. What's up, AJ?
Hey, Kari Parker's in the house.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Let's go.
Everyone knows him. Let's go, Kari.
Let's go.
Yeah.
What's up, Kari? What's up, bro?
Very simple. Very simple here. You know, definitely gonna go Lupita decision. I actually do think that Verna Jandiroba is she's a little bit under the radar, to be honest with you. You know, she's got really good grappling, but she's not like this. She's not the. Pardon me. She's not like this phenom that everyone should be looking out for. You know, she's pretty old. I think she's like 35, 36, and she's got like terrible MMA striking in general. So I think Lupita Godinez is going to work her on the feet. I think, you know, I wouldn't even be surprised if she drops Verna Jandiroba. I think she's way more stronger in the grappling when they hit the ground. I think that Verna Jandiroba honestly does have the better jiu-jitsu, but I just think that Lupita Godinez is just a little tank. You know, she's got the better wrestling. She's probably going to be better in the scrambles. She's way younger. She's got a lot of experience at this point, right? Like she went 4-0 in 2023, which is actually ridiculous if you think about it. And she's looking to do the same here, man. I think she could seriously be a problem, you know, for the division. The Tabitha Ricci fight, that should have never been, like, with all due respect, that should have never ever been a split decision. You know, that was a very clear win for Lupita. I think the judges saw like the fact that Ricci might have like knocked over Lupita off of momentum or some shit like that. But yeah, that was a clear Lupita win. The point is, I think she wins this fight by decision. I like Lupita Godinez here. I like the over 2.5. I got a bet on the over 2.5. I just I wouldn't be betting either of these women anyways. I will say I think Vern is actually a very good dog here. I just don't like care about much to bet on either of them. I like the over 2.5 here, fellas. That's what I like. But I got Lupita decision.
Nah, I was just saying, I think the judges were a little distracted by Tabitha Ricci.
Yeah, so exactly.
No one was really paying attention to the fight.
They saw something.
Plus, Tabitha was on a big win streak, so I think that kind of she was also doing really great in last year. So I think everyone just thought she was winning the fight just because of the hype that was behind her, and she was active in the fight, so it kind of blinded the rounds, you know.
Competitive fight for sure, you know. But I just obviously Lupita took that.
Great fight to watch.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Hey, man, it's just with the evolution of women's MMA. You know, you gotta be, you know, pretty happy. You know, when you got, you know, of course, these gorgeous type of girls that are fighting.
You just gotta be paying attention to, you know, multiple
the right things.
Yeah,
right. I mean, multitasking. It's like when Rob and Patrick were like literally. It's like when Rob and Patrick were like tap the eyes and stuff. Like serious. Yeah, man. Next fight, it's a great one. It's a banger. I love this fight. One of my favorite fights of the night. Really. It's a fun fight. A really hard fight. In my opinion. I can go first though. We know both these men are really electric with their fight styles. You know, the way they'll come forward. Obviously Nate Landwehr, you know, he's had his fair share of losses. You know, like and when I say fair share, it's not a lot by any means, but you know, we have seen him lose inside the UFC. We know how good he did in M1 Challenge when he was over there. You know, been on like a hell of a streak over in Russia. You know, was great champion over there. But you know, fighting Jamal Emmers in this one. Jamal Emmers, man, I really feel like some of the losses on his record shouldn't really be losses. So I thought he beat Jack Jenkins, and like you can make the case that he beat Giga Chikadze all those years ago. And a lot of people forget that he actually has a win over Corey Sandhagen as well. Of course, that was some years ago, but he still beat a fighter that was that good at the time. You feel me? And like, yo, like I feel my man Anakin in the chat. on this one. I feel like it's a close fight, man. I feel like it's a close fight. It's really just a matter of like who really can impose their will first. It's really a matter who lands the big strike first, in my opinion, because both these guys are good at taking advantage of a hurt opponent. It's a close one. Jamal Emmers has good striking, good wrestling as well. I really like his distance management. Nate has really good aggression. Really dynamic with his forward pressure. But also has good jiu-jitsu as well. We saw him get that Darce choke over Ludovic Klein. And that was a beautiful submission the way he did that. And yeah, man, again, a lot of boys in the chat screaming Nate the Train all day. A lot of boys are screaming Nate. Again, this is a close fight, man. Is this really one of those? But I can't act like I didn't already have my pick written down. I was gonna go with Jamal Emmers, bro. I was gonna go with Emmers. I like Jamal Emmers a lot. I think again, some of those fights he lost, he shouldn't have lost. That could really skew the perception of his record. He could really be 22-5 or something like that, and really just have some wins over some really good guys. Really had some losses that set his career back unfairly, you could say, in terms of him getting to the rankings, stuff like that. And we know with the Pat Sabatini loss, he was doing good in the fight, but it went to the ground. He just got caught in a heel hook, and he was out for a year after that. So I really feel like he's a really cerebral fighter. When he's in there, Jamal Emmers is still pretty fast at 34. He's not falling off like that. Again, I think he hits really hard. And I watched this media day. He knows what Nate's gonna do in this fight. He knows he's gonna come out, be aggressive, try to stifle him with his forward pressure. I think that Jamal's gonna keep a really good jab. And just be prepared for the way anywhere the fight goes. And it's just how I just said, I do feel Anakin, he even referred to the Sabatini fight, how I said, he was doing good in the fight, but it just got to the ground and he got submitted, unfortunately. But I think that he, like I said, he's a real cerebral fighter. He even said in the media day that he knows he has 7 losses and he wants to get all 7 losses back, and he's really inspired by that. So I think that he's really intimidated when he has a bad performance, just so it could translate to a win streak, and I really think he's a good fighter, man. I really think he can really come out here and get a victory. In my opinion, he's fairly well rounded. Like I said, he's a good striker, a good wrestler. So is Nate the Train. Nate has really good submissions, especially you can low-key say off his back. He's really good in the scrambles as well, the wrestling scrambles, offensively and defensively. When anti-wrestling, trying to avoid being taken down, he's really good at scrambling out with his rolls. Has good gas tank too. He's not gonna gas out. He's made for his style. In terms of all the scrambles, the fast-paced action. And yeah, we saw Jamal Emmers finish Dennis Bazooka in his last fight. And before that, he lost a fight that he really shouldn't have lost in Jack Jenkins. A lot of people thought he won that. And then he took the O of Hussein Askabov, who was 23-0 at the time. And Jamal Emmers smoked that dude. So I really think that yeah, man, I really feel like he come out here and get the victory and just play smart in a really wild fight, because we know what Nate's gonna do. He's a good fighter. And yeah, Nikki, who you going with, bro?
I'm seeing the chat. We got a lot of Nate the Train hype.
Yeah, holy shit, man.
So let's cut that out right now.
I'm saying, man, it's like a gang set for real. It's a whole Nate the Train all day, bro.
But, I'm against chat on this one, guys. I'm going Jamal Emmers on this. I just think he controls the fight with his range.
The fight.
He's really good at using his range. A lot of people have length and they can't use it the right way. He does. And the funniest part about that, well, he also has good striking, good takedown defense. Nate is not going to fight technically. He's going to try and get in there and fight dirty. You know what I mean? And that's not going to really work. I mean, anything could happen, right? But in my head, that's not going to work well against someone who could control the range, because he's just going to be moving and keeping his hand out, keeping that range. He's not going to let you get past him. And if you do, that's how you get countered. I mean, look, that's what happened to Aljo. You try and cross that range being crazy, and that's how you get a hook to the chin. So I'm taking Emmers in this one. I put him by decision, but I definitely could see a knockout in this one. I definitely could see a knockout. I could see a little counter hook or something.
Yeah.
But I think the safest pick is to put Emmers by decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see you guys. I see you guys for sure. Yeah, my read on this fight is I like what Nikki's saying. Like I've been on Jamal Emmers like multiple weeks before this fight got announced, and I'm not gonna take away from the fact that it's Nate the Train. I mean, take a look at this fight. You know what I'm saying? Like Nate the Train is a fucking savage, man. Yeah, everybody loves Nate the Train, but
right,
man, I just think Jamal Emmers. I genuinely mean this. I think the guy could be a top 15 featherweight. I just think he's had a really bad run in the UFC. Not bad run. I think he's just had a bit of an inconsistent run. Honestly, like he went to a split decision with Giga. I mean, what happens if he tried to actually wrestle in that fight, got some takedowns, mix it in with the striking? I think he would have won that fight. I think Giga Chikadze would be not who he is today. Even though Cater took most of that hype away. And the Pat Sabatini fight, like I see where is it? Oh yeah, Anakin in the chat saying like Emmers has a problem with his IQ, like the Pat Sabatini fight. I get it, like that was very stupid of him to, rock Pat Sabatini, like drop him and then try to go to the ground and do jiu-jitsu with an elite jiu-jitsu player. Like that's not gonna work. That's just not gonna work for you at all. And that was stupid on Jamal Emmers' part, but I think that Jamal Emmers, gets favored by the bookies a lot, man, because he is very talented. He's actually a massive dude for featherweight. Like he missed weight in his last fight. He's a big 5'10" dude, solid frame for featherweight. Nice and stocky. And he's got sneaky power, man. I feel like people don't talk about that enough. Like he does have pretty sneaky power. Like he put out Dennis Bazooka and like he knocked him out in like 50 seconds. The point that I want to get to, man, is Nate Landwehr is a great fighter, but like. You know what I mean? This guy got KO'd in 1 minute by Julian Erosa. This guy got KO'd by Herbert Burns. I mean, people are kind of looking into the fact that it's like, oh, he went to a decision with Dan Ige, but he got knocked out like twice in that fight. Even though he went to a decision, like he genuinely was knocked out like twice in that fight, and like just because of how good his recovery is, he's able to survive. But he got slumped like once or twice in that fight, and that doesn't really mean much to me, to be honest with you. A lot of people are. Yeah, like Anakin before was talking about like, oh, look what Dan Ige did to Andre Philly, and look what Nate Landwehr did with Dan Ige. He went to a decision, but those are two completely different matchups, right? And man, I like Jamal Emmers here, dude. I think this guy's very talented. Obviously his fight IQ can be a problem, but Nate Landwehr's never really had the best of fight IQ. If we're just gonna be honest with you, I mean, he was going to life and death with David Onama, and that's just what it is, man. Like I'm just being straight up with people. Everybody's a big Nate the Train fan, but my analysis on this fight is I like what Nicky said. I really like what he said. I think Jamal Emmers is going to stay on the back foot. I think he's going to absolutely piece up Nate Landwehr at range. People are really counting on the fact that Nate Landwehr is going to make the fight dirty and get in Jamal Emmers' face and get a submission, something like that. But Jamal Emmers has got great submission defense. You know what I mean? Obviously, he got subbed by Pat Sabatini, but Sabatini is a very good grappler, so you can kind of justify that loss. Look, I think that Jamal Emmers is going to be way bigger than Nate Landwehr too. I think he's just a better fighter than Nate Landwehr. I think Landwehr's had a good run. One thing that people don't realize or don't talk about is like Austin Lingo versus Nate Landwehr. Like Austin Lingo was honestly, he was tagging Nate Landwehr on the chin. Like I'm just going to say that right now, and I just don't like that. I think if Lingo can touch that chin, I think honestly Jamal Emmers can KO Nate Landwehr. I really do. I think he could KO Nate Landwehr in the first round. I don't know, man. I just, I see a lot of people high on Nate Landwehr, and I'm just not there. And Anakin saying Nate does have the tools that he can use to beat Emmers. I do agree with Anakin. I just see this fight, guys, as Jamal Emmers dominating the first 2 rounds with his, just striking, and then I think the third round he might gas out pretty badly because what I'm gonna say is I think Nate Landwehr is gonna put a bunch of pressure on him, the whole fight, and if Nate Landwehr doesn't get chinned right, he's just gonna be, trying to walk down Jamal Emmers the whole time. I think Emmers is just going to be on the back foot, piecing him up with the jab, the 1-2s, you know what I mean? Just staying at range, a lot of kicks, you know what I mean? Just winning the fight at range. But I do see Nate Landwehr having a very strong third round, man. I think this guy could come out the gates, walk down Emmers, maybe get a takedown, maybe have some submission attempts. I just don't see Jamal Emmers losing to Nate Landwehr. I really don't. So I'm going to go with Jamal Emmers by a 29-28 unanimous decision victory. I think it's going to be a close competitive fight. But I think Emmers definitely has the edge here with the striking. And I think Emmers, has the talent to be a top 15 guy. I think Nate Landwehr does also, but I like Emmers in this fight. I really like Emmers. So give me Jamal Emmers to win by decision.
I really want to see what like Jamal can really do, man, if he gets the victory here, bruh. Like he's 34 now. I honestly agree with what you said, man. I really feel like he's always had the potential to be a ranked featherweight. At 34, I think he still has time left, man. His birthday's in July, so he is 34, going on 35. We'll see what happens, man. I feel like MMA, it's like different than sports like basketball, football. If you really take care of your body outside of the cage in terms of your nutrition, your recovery after your training session, stuff like that, like it really might be able to like extend like the duration of your career. So. Fighting in the featherweight division in like 37 and all that's gonna be kind of hard, but because if he wins the belt, what you want to do? Just give it up in a year, But we'll see what he does, though, man. It's a good fight, I appreciate all the boys in the chat popping out for this one, man. Love having you guys here again. Thank y'all so much for joining us as we roll on to this main card. Yeah, man, this fight, the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang versus the Skeletor, Reese McKee. Yeah, man, you go ahead and give your pick first, AJ. Go ahead.
Hell yeah, boys. Look, I'm not gonna spend too much time on this fight. I do have a bet on this fight, and I want you guys to let me know if you think this is a good bet. I've got a double chance. Chidi Njokuani by TKO or Reese McKee by decision. I like that.
That's perfect. That's literally the way the fight's going.
Literally.
Yeah. I mean, I am a little bit worried though. Like McKee could definitely get like a TKO victory because Chitty might just like completely gas out really badly, and Reese McKee has no punching power, which is ridiculous to me. But he can still finish Chitty, especially a gassed out Chitty at 170. But look, my read on this fight, I'm definitely taking Chitty all day, man. I think Chitty's actually a very talented fighter. I think he's a really good fighter. I think he's just run into a bunch of tough opposition as of recently. Man, he was so close to beating fucking Gregory Rodriguez, right? You know what I mean? Had him like cut his face open like 3 inches wide with that knee, like had him badly hurt, and then gave up in that fight, quit. The Abu Duraev fight, split decision loss. I mean, it is what it is. Duraev is he's not like a great fighter, but he's a very game competitive tough dude. He's a tough dude to fight, so you can justify that loss. And yeah, Michelle Awjayzmma, man. I mean, that was like one of the craziest rounds of MMA like I've ever seen alone. Like in that round, I mean, Chitty had him hurt like multiple times. You know what I mean? Just somehow Awjayzmma survives. I had absolutely no clue. One thing I have to point out about Chitty Njokuani, though, I think you guys might also agree with me on this. I don't want to call any fighters like a quitter in that, but Chitty definitely has that quit in him. You know what I mean? Like he has that ability to kind of take the way out in fights. Like his last fight against Awjayzmma, he literally rolled over his side and said, "I'm done." Like he said, "I'm done," and I don't really like that at all. But one thing I got to say about Chitty, bro, this is all I want to say. This guy can honestly look like a top 5 fighter at times, and then he looks like a guy that does not even belong in the UFC. Like he came into the UFC, KO'd Marc-Andre Barrios in
16 seconds.
Yeah, ridiculous. Like he's insanely dangerous. And Dusko to Dordovic, I didn't watch that fight, but I saw the replay, and it was just a beautiful like elbow off the clinch, just bang, just like smoked him. Very, very good work from Chitty Njokuani. But he does have that quit in him, man. And I don't want to keep saying that, but like when the fight gets tough, I'll just say it like this. Chitty he's an excellent hammer, but he's just such a terrible nail. You know what I mean? Like once he starts getting beat up himself, he can't take it. He's done. I just don't like seeing that from a guy like Chitty. Reese McKee on the other hand, because I don't want to be here breaking down this fight for too long. Reese McKee, he's 0-3 in the UFC, hasn't got a win yet. But this guy is I just want to say how it is. He's a straight up punching bag. Like he gets hit like a lot. I think he takes like I don't remember the percentage, but it's like a very high percentage of just the amount of strikes he absorbs per round, and I just don't like that. He's coming from Cage Warriors, but my question is like, how good is Cage Warriors really, man? Like it's a good promotion, but it's a bit like mid-tier. Most of these guys that come from Cage Warriors, they either like do okay in the UFC or they're just not built for it. And Reese McKee, just hasn't won a single fight. I think this is actually a great opportunity for him to win a fight, though. The fact that this matchup's at 170 is just ridiculous. I don't even know how Chitty made 170 because a rumor that I heard about Chitty is like back in like 2016, he actually cut down to 170, and it actually like messed up. It actually messed up his like vocal cords or like his throat, and like like apparently his voice was never the same after he cut to 170. So that's kind of ridiculous, like hearing that. But he did make 170. You know, I expected him to miss weight. I'm gonna be honest with you, but even then, I think that's gonna really take the energy out of Njokuani. But give me Njokuani by first round TKO. You know what I mean? I've been chatting for like half an hour. Look, I think this will be the first time Reese McKee does get finished in his career. Yeah, I like Chidi Njokuani by first round TKO. I think he's just gonna bulldoze Reese McKee and just absolutely just like storm through him and maybe get like a knockout. But man, I like McKee by decision as well, man. I really do.
Yeah, man, I could go ahead and go second, Nikki. Yeah, man, I was gonna go with the same thing. I'm gonna go with Chidi by a first round knockout. The biggest thing for me was that how he was gonna look on the scale. He looked good, man. He looked great making the weight like that. He didn't really look sucked in like that. He looked in great shape. You know, his abs, you know, had a full six pack, you know, and he made it 170 on the dot. You know, didn't even need 171. So I feel like he really took this serious. He knows he has to win this fight, man. He's not, you know, his brother got cut back in the day, and I know that like his brother's gonna, you know, definitely be in his ear to try to give him some guidance to get this victory. And man, like, you know, coming out 3 losses in a row, you know, like, you know, you have to look at your film and see where you went wrong on like your way to your current state. So I really do think that Chidi could come out here and get that knockout. But boy, I bets feels the same way. I really think he come out here, man. Like getting Reese McKee, you know, we saw him go to war with Awjayzmma. You know, he almost beat Awjayzmma at the end of the fight. You know, he was coming on later.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It was actually a pretty crazy fight. To be real, it was actually a pretty insane fight. If y'all go and watch that, it was pretty crazy. Yeah, man, I really think Chidi can really come out here, man. Like, you know, he knocked out Marc-Andre Barriol in 16 seconds, man. So I think really he's focused and he's on and like he's really inspired. I think he's really one of like the best unranked strikers inside the UFC. So we're gonna see how it goes, man. But I also gonna go with Chidi by a first round knockout over Reese McKee.
I'm with you guys on this one. I'm gonna take Njokuani by a first round knockout. I like it a lot. See, like with this fight, it's like the whole thing is like the first round favors him, the rest of the fight favors McKee. But if you look at it, like all of McKee's his decision fights have been unanimous losses. Mm-hmm. So like he's not doing enough in his fights to even sway the judges. So like I don't think like it's gonna be like the Burns fight earlier, where like the early fight favors him, but if it goes past, it's going to be a decision win. I don't think it's like that. I think this is just full on for Njokuani in this fight. I think the knockout is the method that everyone should bet on, but if this even goes to a decision, I'm still taking him in this fight.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna see how it goes, but I should be really invested in it.
I like that. I like that.
I mean, if all your decision losses are unanimous, like you're not even getting a split decision, it's not convincing me enough to be like, oh, he's going to take the second and third round. Because who says he'll probably lose one of them realistically? Like he's never proved that he could win 2 out of 3 rounds.
It's like even if Chidi comes out here patient, doesn't go for the kill, I still think he wins a decision. Like I just think he lands the better shots. I think he could have like a clinic, like a straight up clinic performance, like look like a world beater in this fight. I mean, it's only like Reese McKee, but you know, he could kick the shit out of Reese McKee, you know what I mean, just beat him up for 3 straight rounds and just kind of make a really good statement. I mean, I'm actually excited to see what Chidi looks like at 170. You know, I'm curious to see if he just gasses out or if he actually has, you know, a lot left in the tank, because I don't want to see Chidi get cut from the UFC, man. This guy has so much potential. Like he really does, you know, like you come into the UFC and you knock out a guy in 15 seconds, like you have a lot of potential, man. And you just got to get your shit together. I think Chidi knows that this is like everything he has. And I like Chidi, man. I think he's going to come out here and get that Chidi bang bang. Like what I did there.
You know, it's not always about the opponents too. Like sometimes it's just about your performance. You could fight someone who's out the UFC in a few years, but if your performance is that hot, they're going to be showing that replay when you got a fight night main event and they're showing all your past fights or something.
Yeah,
like, they're going to show those highlights if it was good.
I mean, that's why
look at Sean O'Malley's highlights. Yeah. Like these dudes aren't in the UFC, but they're still showing it.
Exactly. I mean, that's what I wanted to say as well. Like that's why they're putting Chidi on most like most of the events shit he's fighting on, that's why they're putting him on main cards, because they know, like, win or lose, like he's gonna absolutely bring it, you know. And that's very, like, he even, like, right now he's on the main card of this card, you know. So
on a 3-fight losing streak.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can, like, this is the type of guy that can be on a losing streak and still be put on the main card, because the people know, like, he's finna fucking bring it, you know. And that's what I like to see, you know, win or lose. Honestly.
Yeah, was his brother the one that fought Cub Swanson?
Nah, he fought his brother fought like RDA, and he fought like Benson Henderson. Like, he was like a WEC guy.
Anton, who's the dude who fought Cub Swanson that I said was a rigged fight? Is that not the same last name?
Hakeem Dawodu.
Okay.
Hakeem Dawodu.
I was thinking in my head that was his brother, and it's not.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's pretty crazy. I can just recall to that because the dudes really thought Hakeem Dawodu.
Because I was going to ask if you thought that. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, it's all good. We're almost done with the card, boys. We'll chop it up after. Yeah, man, going into this next one, Bill Algeo versus the monster Cal Nelson. We can be quick on this one. I mean, man, I was gonna go with Bill Algeo. I like his fight style, you know, aggressive grappler, decent striker. Kyle Nelson's had a resurgence in his career as of late, man. He's really like bit down on the mouthpiece and really used all his determination to keep himself inside the Ultimate Fighting Championship. You can do nothing but respect Kyle Nelson. I mean, man, got a 15-5 record now on a 2-fight win streak. Over Fernando Padilla and Blake Builder. That Fernando win does look great now. Especially like you know how he just looked in his last fight with the standing choke. I believe he got on Fernando's last fight. He just fought like I think the last card
Fernando.
Yeah, Fernando. Yeah, Padilla. He's a good fighter, you know. And like that sucked, you know, because I'm pretty sure that was the Mexican Independence Day card, and like he was one of the Mexicans that lost on the card.
He actually opened up the main card and just like disappointed the whole crowd, you know. So that's
it was really unfortunate. Really unfortunate. I feel like that was made for him to win. My boy Anakin feels like Kyle Nelson could actually get it done in this one, make it a 3-fight win streak. Yeah, man, I was gonna go with Bill Algeo. I think he's beaten the better guys, you could say. Like the win over Fernando is great for Kyle Nelson, in my opinion. That's one might be like one of his best UFC wins for sure. But I just think for Algeo, like the win over Alexander Hernandez, like TJ Brown, like he beat Herbert Burns, he beat Joe Anderson Brito, who we know has a ton of power, and he nullified that and won a unanimous decision. So I do think he will be able to implement his game plan, and get the job done. You know, I like his grappling in this matchup. And my friend the Hill MMA's just called Kyle Nelson the Canadian Guram. I feel him on that. And he feels the same way as me. Of course, this is a close fight, but yeah, man, the Hill himself was also going with Bill Algeo. It's a close fight, man. Kyle Nelson has a lot of momentum in his career right now. No one's gonna tell him nothing in his career right now. He thinks he could probably, you know, become the champion right now, you know, with the resurgence he's had. But I think Bill Algeo is just really fairly consistent. And kind of like my man Tai said, I don't really think that Kyle really has the power to really hurt Bill Algeo enough to kind of like what I referred to earlier. He doesn't have the power to really like hurt him enough to really gain his respect to make him have to like desperation shoot and stuff like that. I really feel like Bill Algeo can come out here and force his game plan. It might take a round. The first round might be relatively close, but I think by later round 2, round 3, I think he'll be getting some takedowns here and there, hopping on the back, and yeah, like maybe even winning some striking exchanges. You know, he's a decent striker too. So I was gonna go with Bill Algeo in this fight. How you feeling, AJ?
Yeah, man. I'm a kind of shock with you guys, man. I mean, I was very high on Bill Algeo, but the way that I'm feeling about this fight, man, I like the dog here in Kyle Nelson, man. You know, this is a very tricky fight. You know, this might be a prediction that I regret.
So
you know, I see my no. You're good. I see my boy in the Hill in the chat saying Algeo a confident pick. I wouldn't be that confident in Bill Algeo, man. You know what I mean? Like this guy, he's 4-1 in his last 5 fights, so he's been looking good. You know, he's got a win over Joe Anderson Brito. Bill Algeo is very game. You know, he's a good fighter, very good fighter. But so was Carl Nelson, man. I think, I'm gonna say right now, like Nelson has been picking up these wins. You know what I'm saying? The craziest part about Carl Nelson is like I have no clue how this guy has stayed in the UFC because before he went on a 2-fight winning streak, I mean I say that with all due respect because before he went on a 2-fight winning streak, he was like a 1-4 in the UFC. Like he lost like 4 UFC fights, only had 1 win. He must have like the best manager of all time or some shit because I don't know how he even stayed in the UFC, but. We see him now, and he's making drastic improvements. You know what I'm saying? He's like, he's beating these guys. Went to his draw with Doohoo Choi, which I honestly think Doohoo Choi should have got the win, but I'm not going to really complain. I mean, Carl Nelson basically saved his career there. I mean, if he had lost that fight, he probably would have got cut. But look, for me, I like Carl Nelson in this fight here. I really do. I think this might end up being a split decision. And the way I see this fight going down is I just think Carl Nelson can match Bill Aljo on the feet. Like, I really do. Like, Carl Nelson's got a good kicking game. You know what I mean? He's got good straight punches. He used to get hit a lot in his career, but nowadays he's very defensively sound. Every fighter still gets hit, but I just don't have this confident read that Bill Aljo is going to be able to dominate Nelson the whole fight. And I think the better grappler is Carl Nelson. We know that Bill Aljo's got a really good get up game, but I think Carl Nelson, he can go toe to toe with Aljo on the feet, and he can also take down Bill Aljo, or not take him down, but he can get that cage control. You know what I mean? Kind of mix up the fight, maybe get a potential takedown. I mean, Carl Nelson's a really strong guy for 145. Man, he's a big dude, very physical guy. That win against Fernando Padilha's aged very well, and he's actually a very good striker, like MMA striker at least. He's not like a kickboxer or a boxer, but he knows how to mix in his striking. With punches and kicks. I just like his kicking game, man. I think he can really match Bill Aljo. The only way I see Bill Aljo winning is like if he could just like get the respect from Carl Nelson and just stay on the outside, pick him apart, maybe catch Carl Nelson with like a counter hook, like Nikki said, maybe. But yeah, I think this might be a split decision win for Carl Nelson. I think Nelson mixes in the grappling, goes toe to toe on the feet with Bill Aljo, makes this fight extremely close. I mean, Bill Aljo lost to Jared Gordon back in the day, pardon me, and like although that's not the worst loss to have, like still, man. You know what I mean? That's a similar kind of fighter like Carl Nelson. They both like to strike with their opponents on the feet and kind of mix in the grappling. And I think Nelson is a good dog here, man. I really do. Give me Carl Nelson, man. I think he makes this fight extremely close. I think he's gonna, do a bit more in this fight than Bill Aljo, mix in the grappling and go toe to toe on the feet, land just as many good shots as Bill Aljo. And yeah, it doesn't matter if Bill Aljo's trying to, score points on the outside. I think Carl Nelson just kind of walks him down and stays defensively sound, lands great kicks, and can maybe get a takedown, but cage control is going to add up. Give me Carl Nelson to win this fight by split decision.
All right. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys want my positive or my negative take on Aljo first?
I can go negative first. Might as well get that stuff out the way.
He's too passive of a fighter, and he doesn't have that finish in him. You know what I mean? I just don't see him going for the finish when he should. I feel like he's too passive of a fighter sometimes. What I do think is good about him is he has insane cardio. So when you mix them two together, it's like, what do you even get? It's weird. I have him winning by a submission. I hopefully think he can be aggressive with his fight style. You know what I mean? Like if you rock someone, get on it. Don't stand there and wait for them to get back. Or you know what I mean? If they mess up on the ground, you gotta advance your position. Like if they give you the side of the body, you gotta take it. You know what I mean? I hopefully think he could, improve on that. That's the whole goal of a new fight, is to improve on it from your last fight. Hopefully he knows this. Obviously, if I could say it, his coaches have definitely addressed it to him that he has to be more aggressive of a fighter. I think he will be in this fight, and I think he'll advance those positions, and I think he could submit Kyle Nelson.
Yeah, facts, man. It's going to be a decent fight, though. This kind of has some controversy with it being on the main card. Some of MMA Twitter don't really like the placement in the bout order, but this next fight, though, is pretty insane. Honestly, one of my favorite fights on the entire card. You can go first, Nikki. Go ahead, bro.
All right. So Ruziboev, right? Ruziboev, I'm pronouncing that right.
Shit.
He has way more experience. He's 33-8. What's up? Did I miss something?
Oh no, you're good. He was just
I
hyping
thought
him
there was a
up.
comment. My bad. I was in the other
Nah,
thing.
nah,
He has
it's
way
straight.
more experience, and he's also riding a 9-fight win streak. In my head, like everything aligns. You're about to get your 10th fight. I feel like he has to win this fight. And he's just a submission specialist. And Dumas has been choked out. I think he rides the 9 fights into a 10th win in a row. He gets that submission choke on Dumas in this one.
Oh my days, man!
Mm-hmm.
I need you, Antoine, to go ahead, bro, because I finna go off here for the last one.
Yeah, man. Like, we know that Sidriquist has a 3-inch reach advantage in this fight, bro. He's a decent striker himself. We know we did lose to Josh Fremd. Really, it's not the best look, man. And the Cody Brundage fight, that was a little bit closer than it should have been, in my opinion. Especially to go out there and try to take on a dude that has this kind of surging momentum right now. Also, not even to get no personal stuff. We know that for those of y'all that don't really know, that Streakers has some stuff going on right now in his relationship. Some domestic.
I covered it on my channel a while ago, just in case anybody wants to go check it out.
Please do. Always covering that recent MMA news. Always. And yeah, man. So he's probably not having the best training camp down in Orlando right now. Got a lot going on. Might not even known if he'd be allowed to fight at a certain point. Because you had that, the stuff, that case that's going on or whatever. So I think just all that recipe, man. And I like Sidriquist. I like his personality when I watch his interviews. And any fighter can do anything. For me, it's just more so about Nursultan's skill set. I think he's a really devastating striker. A lot of submissions to his game as well. Has really good trips, really good sweeps off his back. If you look at the footage, and yeah, it's like Nikki said, he's 33-8. I know that's 8 losses, but that's also 33 wins. That's a lot of experience. It's just a part of being a martial artist at that point. You're gonna have some losses if you fight long enough. Of course, if you're Khabib, but it's just that. Yeah, man, I really feel like Nursultan really has a decently well-rounded game. I think the only reason it took him a little bit to get to the UFC was because of the competition he was facing. Didn't really have some of the best records, but he's in Philadelphia now, and he's training with Sean Brady, Joe Pyfer, all those boys. Really good camp. Of course, we know Joe Pyfer just took a recent loss, but we know how Sean Brady's looked recently after losing to Bilal Muhammad. And yeah, man, I think Nursultan can come out here and get it done. I'm gonna go with a second round submission for Nursultan Ruziboev. Really come out aggressive in the first. Try to assess what Dumas is gonna do from the outside. Dumas not gonna try to wrestle, I don't think. So he's gonna try to see what he has for him on the feet. Go toe to toe. If he feels like he might have some trouble with the striking, I think he's gonna go just all out with the wrestling, try to get it submission, get him to the ground, and try to get a sub, something like that.
Hell yeah. You want to go first, Nikki, or?
I went. I got.
Yeah.
I don't know how I didn't even cover that, but
no, it's straight, man.
You called the second round sub. No, I got you. Yeah, man. I'm gonna say this right now. I have no I don't say this for many fighters, but I don't know why Nursultan Ruziboev is not a -600 favorite. I'm just gonna say that right now. I really want to say that. Even my boy Nahil saying this -220 is just a discount price, and I agree. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of Sidriquist Dumas. I don't really care about the guy personally. I'm not the biggest fan, and I just don't think he's UFC. I don't want to say he's not UFC level, but he's honestly not just UFC level if you really think about it. I mean, this guy got fucking finished by Josh Fremd, and Josh Fremd's a mid-tier fighter at best at middleweight. So that's something that I don't really like. I will say though, Sidriquist Dumas is actually a pretty decent striker. He's got head kicks. He's got nice kicks in general. He's a big dude for middleweight. I think he's 6'2" with a 79-inch reach. He's a big guy, man, without a doubt.
He has the reach advantage in this fight.
Yeah, he is a big dude. He is a big dude without a doubt. But that loss to I'm just gonna say, man, that loss to Fremd just sticks out so much. It's not even It's not even like he went to a decision or like he lost a split decision. It's like he got finished with the guillotine. I just don't like that. Honestly, I really just don't like that at all. And yeah, I mean, even his wins in the UFC just haven't really impressed me. The Abu Azaito fight was actually like pretty close. The Cody Brundage fight I never got to watch, but I just think Brundage probably quit in that fight like he always does. With all due respect, I don't want to just call shots on Cody Brundage, but yeah, man. Look, I got Nazoltin Rizboev here by submission. I think Cedriques Dumas is actually very durable. I got this weird feeling that he's just going to be able to take shots all day from Nazoltin Rizboev. But I can see Cedriques Dumas making the same mistake as Bruno Ferreira. I can see this guy throwing like a naked leg kick, like straight out, like just in the wild, gets countered with a massive shot, puts him down. I think he's going to get rocked really badly from the punch. I don't think it's going to KO him. But I think he's going to get rocked really badly. I think Cedriques Dumas is going to be like, how would I say? He's going to be posting his feet up on Nazoltin Rizboev to try and like create space, and Rizboev is just going to look like a monster, just trying to like take his back and get him to the ground. I think Rizboev, once he gets him to the ground, I think he's going to submit him because Nazoltin Rizboev, to the submission in his career, he's 20-1. He has 20 submissions. I believe 15 of those submission wins are by Kimura, which is actually ridiculous. So even if Cedriques Dumas takes down Nazoltin Rizboev, I think that Rizboev immediately sweeps him with like a Kimura, and submits him or some shit. I just don't see the knockout here. I think Dumas is super tough, but man, I like Rizboev by submission. I think Rizboev honestly is going to club and sub Cedriques Dumas, and I'm gonna say a round 1 club and sub submission for my boy Nazoltin Rizboev. I mean, this guy. I'll be honest, this guy is probably one of my favorite fighters on the roster, dude. I think this guy's an absolute monster. His record's a bit controversial though, right? Like he was 35-8 like not too long ago, and then now he's 33-8. So he's obviously like, done some suspicious stuff back in Uzbekistan. But I've watched a lot of highlights on this guy in general, man, and that he has a massive fan base over in Uzbekistan. I see all these random videos on YouTube of Rizboev, and it's like like Uzbekistan language, but he gets like a lot of attraction over there, man. And he's a killer, man. He really is a killer. Like he's 6'5" for middleweight. I mean, that's just unfair in itself. He's a massive dude. He's actually very physically strong. He looks like a skinny, kind of frail guy, but he's a beast. Look, man, respect to Cedriques Dumas, but he's not winning this fight. I mean, at -220 is an absolute steal. And I've already hammered that line on multiple parlays, so I'd be very surprised. I would genuinely be very surprised, along with you guys, if Dumas somehow wins this fight. But I like Nazoltin Rizboev here. I actually do know some people that are picking Cedriques Dumas, and I just don't see it. I really genuinely don't see it at all. Give me Nazoltin Rizboev to win this fight by submission in the first round.
Yeah, man, like I was looking at Dumas this week, man. It's just like, for me, it's just like the training camp, man. I feel like he's had a lot going on to like have an adequate training camp to the like that he should to like fight this type of dude. Like this dude has this kind of size that he has to wrestle, this kind of striking acumen that he has to be ready for with this, we know, with his instincts. And this, I don't think he's gonna wrestle to get the fight to the ground, man. I think Sultan's a good grappler, so it's really like how's it gonna play out on the feet. He has a 3-inch reach advantage. It really just matters how he uses it. We're going to see if the -220 favorite is really indicative of the performance, if he should have been a -800 or if Cedriques should have been the favorite. But again, it doesn't matter what we say in a fight. We literally never know what's going to happen until they step in there. And that's literally all it comes down to. My man Anakin just echoed what I said. I said the same thing, Anakin. I was like, yeah, bro, like, he had a lot of controversy in his training camp. When that shit is on your mind, bro, it's hard, like, to train to the full extent. Of course, I wouldn't know. I'm not a fighter. But at the same time, like, even playing devil's advocate to what I just said, that, like, this whole situation might have lit a fire under him and made him want to win, now more than ever. You feel me? You never know. It's just like, but in reality, I know that's a lot going on, man. Moving here, going there, having to, because the whole situation, with this girl or whatever. and just to try to train at the end of the day, all that going on when you have a fight coming up, and like, yeah, he did actually spend, I think it was 24 to 48 hours behind bars, like, in a holding cell, until he bonded out, he got out, and got back to his training camp and stuff like that, and yeah, man, I really feel like this is probably a proving fight for. I mean, I guess you could say both, because a lot of people don't really rate Dumas really highly. But we're gonna see how it goes. Like Nursultan's fighting a dude that has a 3-inch reach advantage. Bruno Ferreira was only 5'10" compared to Cedric West, who's 6'2", so he is fighting a bigger dude. We watched the face-offs. Nursultan was definitely bigger for sure. But
we're gonna check it out right now. Yeah, I'm gonna check it out right now real quick.
But we're gonna see how that goes, and Nursultan was definitely a little bigger than him, but you could tell Cedricus had the reach advantage, like when they did like the arms up and stuff like that. And yeah, man, but it's a good fight though. But going to our feature bout of the evening, we have the return of one of the greatest middleweights in UFC history. I'm gonna go ahead and even before I do that, I want to know, y'all can take a couple minutes, 2 minutes or so. I know we got the viewers here kind of late this evening, but I was curious, where do you rank, and AJ, you can go first. Where do you rank Chris Weidman in the top 10 middleweights, of all time, martial arts?
Oh man. I mean,
yeah, he has 4 belts at home. So in NBA terms, it's 4 rings.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real, fellas. If you fucking knock out Anderson Silva and you beat him twice, you have to be ranked pretty highly in the sport. It doesn't matter how much has happened since Anderson Silva was on top of the game, but that's a massive achievement back in the day. The first clip I actually saw of I believe the first clip I probably saw of any MMA anything was some random dude knocking out Anderson Silva, because everybody knows Anderson Silva. Even if you don't watch MMA, you just know he's that guy with the yellow and black shorts. He's doing the karate shit. And yeah, when I saw Silva get KO'd, I'm like, dude, what the fuck? What? Who even is this guy? And then I saw Chris Weidman, and funny enough, I mean, Chris Weidman won all of his UFC belts against Brazilians. So I mean, this guy doesn't really like Brazilians, right? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what's happening there, but look, man, my pick on this fight is I'm going with Bruno Silva, but I'm actually not that confident in Bruno Silva like a lot of other people are. I do have Bruno Silva on some parlays, but man, he's very inconsistent. I mean, this is a guy that can go to war with Alex Pereira and not get KO'd, and then he can get dropped. He can get dropped by GM3 and submitted. So I don't really know how that makes sense. He's just very inconsistent. But he's a killer, man. He's a straight up killer. I believe he's 20-1 to the knockout in his career. He's got multiple knockouts. Against Sharaputdin Magomedov, he looked fucking good, man. He looked really good in that fight. You know what I mean? Despite losing, I mean, he was going toe to toe with Sharaputdin on the feet. He was taking down Magomedov multiple times in that fight, which is a major red flag for Sharaputdin. I mean, holy shit, dude. Bruno Silva's a striker taking you down multiple times. I mean, the rest of the division, who are good grapplers, probably beat Sharaputdin, but I digress. Look, Chris Weidman is 39, man. He's fighting on one leg. I want to pick him to win this fight, but it's just I just can't, man. I think we're gonna see a brutal first round KO for Bruno Silva. One thing about Chris Weidman too, although he's beaten a lot of Brazilians, he's also been knocked out by a Brazilian in Jacare Souza. And I think he might get knocked out by another Brazilian here in Bruno Silva. I think that Silva is extremely hungry, especially considering how inconsistent he's been, right? And I think he really wants to win over a former middleweight champion, Chris Weidman. I will say Weidman by submission is not a bad bet though, right? Weidman can definitely get this fight to the ground, take his back, submit him. He's just way too old, and he's literally fighting off of one leg, man. So I don't want to. I mean, holy shit, dude. I mean, tomorrow we could just see Chris Weidman snap his leg again. You know what I mean?
Chill out.
I mean, am I wrong though? If he lands that,
not at all.
If he lands that shit wrong, dude, it's over for him. I mean, he's got to be really careful. And Bruno Silva's a dirty fighter, man. Like not dirty as in he does dirty things. I just mean like he's a he gets up in your face. He's a dirty fighter when he likes to get into the clinch, and he's nasty with it, man. He stays in your fucking face and he tries to knock you out, And I think at some point, man, he's gonna land an absolute bomb on Chris Weidman, and Chris Weidman can't really take shots as well, man. I mean, he fought Brad Tavares. Tavares doesn't KO people, so Weidman definitely has the tools to knock out Silva, like maybe get like a club and sub, but it's like a dream, you got to be dreaming for that to happen. People can sprinkle the Weidman by sub, but yeah, I got Bruno Silva by KO on a lot of parlays. I just like the money line of Silva. I think he's at like minus 140 right now, so some pretty good odds. There's actually some underdog money coming in on Chris Weidman, which is quite interesting, but I just don't see it. I think Silva wins this fight by devastating knockout, and we have like a Frankie Edgar type of retirement, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I'm gonna go ahead and be quick about mine, Nikki. Yeah, bro. So just quick 3 things actually. It's pretty ironic, the whole like Anderson Silva thing, and now he's fighting Bruno Silva. Which could potentially be like his way out, because if he loses this, he might retire. And like MMA is like one of the most brutal sports, like if not the most brutal to ever exist, without a doubt, in my opinion.
I think boxing, that in boxing for sure.
Yeah, of course. To the whole concussion and stuff. Always praying for Pritchard Cologne. That dude's making some ways in his recovery. Yeah, man, and him Amanda Hill. I get it, man. And also first to show Weidman some love, right quick. Only saying that this might be the last time we get to break down a Chris Weidman fight. I think Weidman's about probably. I think he's the 3rd greatest ever. Like he has 5 title defenses, and he's a 2-time. And I like to go off the belt. So technically, Israel has like 7 belts at home, or like 6, because he won it, defended it 5. That makes 6. He beat Alex. That was 7. So like that was 7. So he said Israel has 7 belts at home. He might not flex them, but they're somewhere in his house. He has 7 different belts, 7 rings, just like Tom Brady. And yeah, man, Israel was probably 2nd. Anderson, I forgot how many times. I know it was more than Israel, and he had the belt for 5 years. So Anderson's obviously number 1. And Chris Weidman, he won it and defended it 3 times. So I do want to put Weidman probably as the 3rd greatest middleweight martial artist in martial arts history. But of course, like, yeah, man, going into this fight, he's 39 years old. He's fighting on one leg, like my man AJ just said. He really explained everything that was needed. Everyone's really feeling the same way. It's truly unfortunate. I mean, hey, man, we can't tell him what to do. He still wants to fight. It is what it is, Shout out to Chris Weidman. I'm probably gonna go with Bruno Silva by 1st round knockout. I think he's going to come out extremely aggressive, chopping the legs. I'd be shocked if he wasn't aggressive, chopping the legs, just trying to get this victory. Chop the legs, be aggressive, shut down the movement. He can't move anymore. Walk him down, and it's going to TKO finish. We're going to see what happens. Chris Weidman can work his wrestling. We know he's a great wrestler. D1 All-American, I think he might be a 2-time All-American, Chris Weidman. So, and that never leaves him. The wrestling technique, of course, the athleticism and the speed can leave you as you get older, but he'll never lose the wrestling technique. DC was 41 and still wrestling at a pretty good level. So yeah, man, Chris Weidman, I hope it's his last fight. I just don't want to see him take any more damage. He has a family. The more he loses, the more it's gonna taint his resume. Make people forget about who like the All-American really was. So it's truly unfortunate. I really hope this is gonna last loss, that he could go out there and win. It shut me up. I'm really happy for him. But I think Bruno Silva is gonna come out with a good game plan. Be really aggressive and try to get the finish, man. And I think this one, hopefully for me, I want this to be Chris Weidman's last fight, man. I want him to go off into the sunset, make the Hall of Fame, and just be happy, start coaching, something like that. How you feeling, Nikki?
Yeah, to answer your question real quick, the first one, it's obviously, Anderson Silva and Israel Adesanya ahead. My thing with the middleweight is it's just not even to shit on the division, but it just didn't have, it didn't have the same aura as others. Am I still here? Did I freeze?
No, I hear you.
I'm frozen on my screen, but it didn't have the same aura as the other divisions, like light heavyweight and light, like all these other divisions just had like these bigger names, and I think it's a weaker division history maybe, but he's definitely in third place. Like you're not putting Bisping over, I'm not putting Rob Whittaker over, and I'm not putting Luke Rockhold over. But to get into this fight, I mean the blueprint's out on him. You got to spam the leg kicks. He didn't enjoy switching stances because he kept coming right back to his original stance and getting leg kicked in his last fight against Brad Tavares. Yeah, dude, he took off all those years after the injury, came back and just fucked up his leg. And now he's back. This is less than a year later, man. It's just like we thought it was going to be longer layoff if he was going to come back and fight. I'm not. It's just he's gonna get that leg fucked up, bro. And this is the thing to just pin off. Like, this could happen to Conor, not with Chandler. Chandler doesn't scare me for leg kicks, but this could happen to Conor. If Conor beats Chandler, I mean, that leg will always be, exposable. You know what I mean? But that we'll get into it at another time. It's just that leg, it scares me. I don't think it's going to be a knockout. I think it's going to be a technical knockout. I think that it's going to be a ref stoppage. I think he's going to be laying down on that ground, can't get up, and that ref stops that fight out of pure feeling bad at
like sympathy,
Yeah, sympathy, man. It's not even a knock. I mean, the game plan has to be like kick and do not let this dude get close to you. Simple as that. And that's a fair enough game plan. You know what I mean? I'm gonna take Bruno Silva by technical knockout.
I like that.
Yeah, man. Me too, bro. TKO, like I don't think he's gonna knock him out flush, like Yoel Romero, Chris Weidman. I don't think that's gonna happen. Nothing like that. At least I pray that it does hit. And yeah, man, we can go ahead and get to the co-main. Go ahead and get to it. Now, I saw online this fight was giving some people some problems as well. A lot of people didn't really didn't really give like decisive picks like that when I was watching people break down this co-main. But it's Joaquin Buckley versus Vicente Luque. And yeah, Nikki, how's your connection going?
My PC, my laptop's frozen right now. It's got a loading screen, so I can't switch tabs. And it's just went gray. If stream ends, guys, we will start right back up. I don't know what's happening.
Gotcha. It's all good.
Hold up.
It's all good. It's all good.
You're good, Nikki.
I think I'm good now.
You're good. You're fine, bro. You're good, bro. Yeah. You're moving now. You're good,
I
bro.
just don't want the stream to end.
Oh, that's all good, man. We got it. This stuff like this that happens, we can't control. It's StreamYard. But yeah, man, going into Joaquin Buckley versus Vicente Luque. Yeah, man, this is a really good fight in my opinion. It's pretty much a banger. Really happy for Joaquin Buckley to get this co-main spot. If you watched the behind the scenes video, he's really excited to be on the poster. I feel him. A lot of people around the world are gonna have this poster. And yeah, I mean, I do think it's a really good fight in my opinion. And yeah, man, Anakin took the words out of my mouth. I am going with Joaquin Buckley in this fight. I just think, man, he's really hitting his stride at welterweight. I get it. A lot of people feel like he might not be able to ever really crack the upper echelon, like really just become a ranked fighter. They'll think he'll just be a fun fighter and just like middle in the unrankings. But I really think that as long as he has a smart game plan in this fight, I think he's the faster striker. I think you can make the case like he might be physically stronger than him. I do think that he has a good gas tank. There was some word about him taking this low key on short notice, but he said he had been training. He said he had been asking for this fight since December. He knew he was going to get a fight, so that's a pretty long time. Training since December for this fight, at least staying in shape. And I know he definitely was training really hard when he got the call. And I think he's always in shape, and I do think he was really right about that. I do think he really was training really hard since December. So he'd be in fantastic shape for this fight. He looked great on the scale at welterweight. Still making the weight very healthily, not really draining his body to do so. And I really feel like the thing for him in this fight is honestly like the speed advantage. I think he's gonna be faster than Vicente Luque, a little quicker to the punch, better with the leg kicks. He could be doing all of that, and then Luque lands a good check left hook and just drops Joaquin Buckley. But I really feel like he's just gonna like really play it, play it good, man. I feel like at his age, he's only getting better. Luque himself is still young, but we know Luque has taken a lot of damage. We know he had that brain hemorrhage situation that was going on. He had like a brain bleed. Really, really happy he's okay. We know he has a whole family, and outside of fighting, he's gonna be done with this one day, and he has to be here for his family. So really happy to see he's okay enough to compete, of course. But I really think that Joaquin Buckley can really use his speed. Really powerful striker, has really fast kicks, really dynamic as well, and he's made for his style. He doesn't gas out round by round. He's just as fast in the second round, in the third, as he is in the first, in my opinion. Versus Abdul Razak Al Hassan, he used his brain by wrestling him the whole fight, and that really showed another wrinkle to his game. He was absolutely exhausted after doing so. You can see both of them laying down on the mat when the fight was over. But I really think that Joaquin Buckley is just finally hitting his stride. I don't think he's the kind of guy where he's just gonna like be this unranked for his whole career. Just be a fun fighter, unlike a fight night opener, a fight night main card opener, and like that's it. I think he's taking this fight very, 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 very seriously, and I think he's gonna come out here just be like just really smart about it, be really aggressive, use his speed. Use his power, and yeah, we're gonna see how it goes. Man, Vicente Luque has still a great grappler himself. Yeah, he has decent power, but he hasn't got a knockout in a pretty long time. Vicente has not. And we know that Joaquin Buckley knocked out Andre Fialho with a head kick. Of course, Andre Fialho had been knocked out a lot of times, but that was really more so about Joaquin's technical ability. I'm bringing that up. It really showed that like he's like his instincts, like his eyes for the fight are getting better. Like he's getting better with the UFC experience almost every fight. And we're gonna see how this goes. This is a close fight. It's really, really close fight on the betting odds. I think that's indicative that this is a close fight, man. Like it's really almost a pick 'em. And like, yeah, man, I could, I could get this right. I could regret it. You never know what's gonna happen. But it's a good fight, man. How you feeling, AJ?
Yeah, so this is probably gonna be fight of the night if we really think about it. This is probably gonna be a really fun fight, and I'm gonna be also picking Joaquin Buckley here, but I'm actually not that. Confident. Yeah, man. Yeah. I do got Buckley here, man, but I will say that I'm actually not too confident in Buckley.
Me neither.
I'd say like it's a very close fight, and I'd say I have a low confident pick in Joaquin Buckley. I just think that like at this point in Vicente Luque's career, we just don't know what kind of version we're getting of him. You know what I mean? Like he literally like had a brain hemorrhage versus Jeff Neal, and that was like really fucking bad. I mean, if I'm gonna just be completely honest with you, I don't really even think Luque should be fighting. But still, I mean, God bless the man. You know what I'm saying? Like he's fit, he's healthy enough to compete. So I'm very happy for that. I would have been very sad if Luque was never able to fight again because he's like one of the most fun fighters ever, right?
Nice guy too, really, really nice guy.
Yeah, he's a Chad, man. He's just a humble guy, just a great dude. But yeah, I like Joaquin Buckley here, man. I actually think Vicente Luque is more skilled than Buckley, but I just think at this point in Luque's career, man, he's I don't want to say he's washed, but I just think he's taken so much damage at a young age that he's going to look a bit different from fights from now on. And I got my man Hill MMA in the chat saying I don't rate Buckley, to be honest. He does a lot of shifting and unnecessary movements to seem more technical than what he is. I mean, I agree with you on that. I definitely do agree with you. But at the same time, man, Joaquin Buckley, something I like about him is that he's actually got pretty solid cardio, man, for 3 rounds. He's just a nonstop tank for all 3 rounds. He's extremely explosive, extremely athletic, massive dude for 170. Like he's a big 185er, man. Like he's a short guy, right? He's like fucking 5'10", but he's a massive dude, massive back. Yeah, man, I think he's honestly gonna be physically stronger than a guy like RDA. You know what I'm saying? Like Luque's last fight was against RDA, and RDA is just like a 155er at best. Like he's a tiny welterweight. Buckley's coming from middleweight. He was a massive 185er, not massive 185er, but he was a 185er regardless, man. And he's gonna be a massive 170er 170 pounder, pardon me. I think 170 is his weight class, and a lot of people were talking about like, oh, he couldn't even finish Alex Morono, but it's not like Morono's like the easiest guy to KO.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like I think honestly, like dominating Morono is even more impressive than knocking him out. If you really think about it, you know what I'm saying? Like if you just beat him over a course of 3 rounds, you school him. I find that more impressive than just knocking him out. But for me, I like Joaquin Buckley in this fight here. I think that he's going to be quicker than Vicente Luque. I think he's going to be in and out. If he fights smart, you know what I mean? He's going to probably look for takedowns at times, you know, time like really well timed takedowns. Buckley's good, man. You know what I'm saying? People kind of give him a bad rap because he got KO'd by Chris Curtis. You know, he's had some weird losses, got KO'd by Alessio Di Chirico with the head kick, but like half of his losses, you know, are very preventable. You know what I mean? Like Nasruddin Imavov fight, he lost, but he took the 3rd round off of Imavov, and he was like very game in that fight too. Like he was still walking down Imavov, still bringing it to Imavov. Really tough fight in general. But yeah, I'm gonna say Joaquin Buckley wins this fight either by like a 3rd round TKO, like maybe like a split decision, like a very close fight. Look, I think that Joaquin Buckley's going to land the better shots throughout the whole fight. I think he's going to be in and out. I think he's actually going to land some takedowns on Vicente Luque. And if they get back up on the feet, man, I think Buckley's just going to be the more explosive guy, the more athletic guy. I think he's going to be, you know, finding those shots. I mean, he's got a 76-inch reach for his build. I mean, that's a fucking pretty solid reach to have, man. You know, he really does put those punches out there with his whole reach when you see him fight. And the fight IQ from Luque is a little bit suspicious, man. You know, this guy, he's got like a nice overhand right, you know, a good left hook and a nice calf kick, and that's probably about it. You know, I really think that Joaquin Buckley's got some more tools on the feet. I think that Luque might be the better mixed martial artist. I think he's actually the better fighter here. But I just cannot be picking Luque after he you know, had that brain bleed against Jeff Neal. You know, I don't care who you are. I picked Luque. I picked RDA against Luque because I wasn't, you know, too sure about Luque. And even though he got the job done there, he had to grapple a lot in that fight. And if Luque tries to grapple with Buckley, I just don't see him holding down Buckley, man. I think Buckley's going to want to get back up to his feet. I think he's going to want to look for the KO. The only way that Buckley loses his fight, to be honest, is like if he fights really stupid and tries to pull with Luque. You know what I mean? In the pocket, trying to throw big hooks. I can see Luque definitely countering him with like a big shot and putting him out. A lot of people think that Luque could even get the submission here, but I just don't see it. You know, Buckley's never been submitted in his career. But give me Joaquin Buckley to win this fight, man. I don't really care about the method. I just think he's the younger fighter, the hungrier fighter, because, you know, Buckley knows that this is like this fight is going to change his career for the better or the worse. And I think Buckley really wants this fight, man. You know what I mean? I think he honestly kind of wants it more than Luque does. I'll be real. Give me Buckley to win this fight, man. I think he's going to land the better shots, you know, be in and out. Just have the better game plan, man. I just think he's going to have the bigger moments throughout the whole fight. And man, he's very fucking dangerous, Buckley. Like people don't give him the respect he deserves. Like he's done the hard yards in the UFC. You know, he's 7-4, and that's a record that he's built within like the last 3-4 years in the UFC, which I think is kind of impressive, to be honest with you. You know, and Luque was on a really good streak, but after that brain hemorrhage, I just cannot look at him the same. And this is a very tough opponent. You know, Joaquin Buckley. You know, this guy ain't no slouch, man. I'm gonna just say that real quick. So. I like Buckley here, man. I think Buckley shows the people what's up. With low confident pick, though. I'm not extremely confident, but I like Buckley to get the job done, man, for sure.
Yeah, man. I feel what you said as well. And also you even brought past the Nikki. Buckley has really good takedown defense as well. We saw Albert Duraev, who's like, you know, a Russian wrestler and all that.
Yeah.
Try multiple times to get him to the ground, and he could not do it. He, like, you know, Joaquin, that's one of his best performances.
Yeah, that's definitely Yeah, that's definitely one of the biggest wins of his career. I remember, yeah, for sure.
And yeah, and like he shut his eye completely shut. Like that was almost like a flawless performance.
Honest.
Yeah, it was right, exactly. Yeah, because his fight, like it's really good fight IQ he had in that fight. And a great performance. But yeah, I just wanted to put that takedown defense in there. Go ahead with your pick, Nikki, so we can move on to this last fight of the night.
Yeah, no doubt. Sorry, my camera froze tonight. I just noticed that. Yeah, but Anakin's talking a lot of good points tonight. RDA did give him a run for his money. Luque, that whole fight couldn't hold him down for nothing. I had Luque to win by submission. I don't remember why I put it, but bro, he hit that Darcy choke and just he couldn't do nothing. He could not keep RDA on the ground for 2 seconds. And RDA, like, good takedown defense and all. I would put, you know, him and Buckley like in a close tier. Neither of them are like amazing on the ground. You know what I mean? And like Buckley's coming down from middleweight, and RDA is coming up from lightweight. You know what I mean? So you're fighting a bigger opponent now. Like, and if you couldn't hold him down, you're not holding Buckley down. So it's going to be on the feet. And an important thing about Vicente, how he fights, it's so technical that he's going to be in that same stance all fight. It's going to be like hands up by your jaw, and you're just going to come forward, throw your kicks, throw your punches. But like your hands are in front of your face that whole time, you're going to get hit with hooks. And Buckley is a really strong hook. I think he can knock him out. He definitely gets a little more tired into the third round. And Buckley's last fight, he was so gassed, and he still pulled through the victory. If it like my heart is telling me that Vicente would win a decision, but I don't know. I think he's going to just get tagged up a lot in this fight. I think Buckley's just going to put on like a great striking performance. I'm putting him for a knockout, but there's some part of me that even thinks he could win by decision if it goes there. Vicente has a great Darcy choke though, so if he could lock it in, it's there. Like that I know. I want to see what people are saying on this, because like I feel like there's a small part of me that thinks he could get a submission too. But if I had to bet, I'm going Buckley by knockout with a chance at decision, and Luka having a chance at submission. But my biggest is a Buckley knockout.
Yeah, man, it's a close one. Like like we all said, man, it's not disrespect, Vicente Luque. It's just Joaquin is finally having his comeuppance. I really feel like his momentum, he's really clicking with all that experience, man. And I think that it's fighting at welterweight. He's fighting at middleweight. You're fighting all these bigger guys means bigger power. So fighting at welterweight, these guys still they're faster, but they might not hit as hard, like he's accustomed to, and he might be able to take the shots better, And if he take the shots better, I think he'll be faster on the feet. I think he could stuff the takedowns if it tries to go there. And I think he might crack for crack. He might hit harder. And I think Luque has a lot of scar tissue as well. So for the judges, he might cut a little easier based off all the fights he's had. But yeah, this was a good main event. Good co-main event. And yeah, just with that, we move on to the main event. The reason why we are all here, of course, it's flyweight title fight, flyweight title eliminator. It's a good one in my opinion. It's a good main event, man. We're getting 2 women's MMA main events back to back. So it's pretty cool to see the ladies get their respect. But yeah, for the last time tonight, again, want to thank y'all so much for being in the chat. Really do love y'all for joining us. Thank you to Pick'em. Thank you to Anakin, Ty Bets, Nahel MMA, Fight Realm. Go subscribe to all these channels, please. Ty Bets, absolutely. God bless every single one of y'all. And yeah, thank you, AJ, for joining us this evening, man. We loved having you. Really was a great time. We were here for 2 hours. Enjoyed every minute of it. And yeah, man, with the last fight of the night, I'm gonna go ahead. Since you're a special guest, man, you go ahead and give your pick first, man, for the last fight.
All right, man. All right, I'll make this short, sweet, and simple. But I'm gonna go with Erin Blanchfield. I'd say medium confident pick. I have to bring this tier category of kind of predicting fights where it's a low confident, medium confident, high confident, because I think it kind of suits out my feelings towards the fight. But I think medium confident pick without a doubt, man. You know what I'm saying? Erin Blanchfield. I see a lot of people on the Manon Fiorot side, my boy Nahil here on the dog. I do like Manon Fiorot here. I actually do, but I will go with Erin Blanchfield. I think Manon Fiorot is the better striker without a doubt, right? I think me, Antoine, and Nikki all know this. Manon Fiorot is the better kickboxer in this fight. She's gonna have the better stand up. She's going to probably have the advantage on the feet. But the fact that this is an MMA fight just gives Erin the advantage. Just by a long shot, man. She's a fucking absolute beast of a woman. Dude, she's insanely well-rounded. She has insane, not durability, but she's gritty. She's gritty as hell. I'm sure you guys saw her last fight against Santos, and she was getting beat up on in that fight, but she was pushing the pace the whole time, and she was the one controlling that fight, although she was getting beat up. And it's like, that's something that I like to see, man, because I don't think Manon Fiorot is going to KO Erin Blanchfield. What I will say though, Manon Fiorot, she actually does seem to have some pretty good takedown defense. I think she's only been taken down once. I can't remember who took her down, but she got back up straight to her feet. She's been 5 rounds, Manon Fiorot, which is actually kind of interesting outside the UFC. And man, this fight should be a lot closer than what the odds suggest, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, I got Erin Blanchfield here by decision. I was gonna pick her by submission, but no, actually, fuck it. I'll go with her by the submission. I'm feeling myself. Yeah, I saw the decision prop, and I'm like, nah, man, she's a way better grappler. But look, Manon Fiorot, she's got good takedown defense, but we don't know about her submission defense, man. No one's actually really tested her grappling, and there's a difference between being able to get back up from takedowns, and then there's a difference between having someone take your back and sink in the hooks, and you're fighting hands, and the next thing you know, you get choked out. So I like Erin Blanchfield here by maybe a 5th round submission. Like maybe we just see like a one hell of a fight where it's like a very back and forth fight. I think this is actually a really good women's MMA fight. I'm not really complaining that it's the main event,
Me neither.
I think Manon Fiorot is going to take the first couple of rounds. I think she's going to outstrike Erin Blanchfield. I think Blanchfield's going to get a little bit frustrated. But I can see Manon Fiorot honestly kind of slowing down a little bit as the fight goes on. She actually looked like she had a disgusting weight cut. Like she looked super bad on the scales. She looked sucked in. She looked dry. She looked lethargic. She looked really fucking sick. And Erin Blanchfield, on the other hand, she looked like amazing. She looked like she didn't even have to cut weight to 125. Like she did not look like she had even cut weight. She looked perfect on the scale. You know what I mean? Like exactly what you want to see in a fighter that you're betting on. And I like her to win the later rounds in this fight. I think she gets the takedowns on Manon Fiorot. I think honestly the main factor is she gets the cage control time. And she's gonna really zap Manon Fiorot's energy off the clinch. I will say though, I have a really weird feeling that Manon Fiorot is gonna outmuscle her in this fight based off the fact she's 3 inches taller. She's got a little bit of a bigger frame. She's obviously looks like she cuts a lot of weight to flyweight, and that can be a bit worrying. I do like the over 4.5 in this fight, but I like Erin Blanchfield by submission now. Man, I don't even know how to fucking put it. I really don't. Like, this is a typical women's MMA fight. You don't know how this is going to, you don't know how it's going to go. So medium confident pick. I'm going with Erin Blanchfield by submission, maybe a decision victory. But I like Blanchfield here, man. I think she gets the job done. I think she really proves her point, and she does become the champ. I think Manon Fiorot is good, but she gave up the 3rd round to Rose Namajunas, and she's had close fights here and there. Whereas Erin Blanchfield is just fucking dominating women. She's taking them down, submitting them. Even in a decision victory, she's dominating women. So I like to see that from Blanchfield. She's way younger. She's literally 10 years younger. She's just a better MMA fighter in general, man. She literally has she's one of the best grapplers in women MMA right now, and I think that's really going to show in this fight. So give me Erin Blanchfield to win this fight by just being the pure better MMA fighter.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get mine second, so Nikki can bring us home. We can go ahead and get up out of here, boss. Yeah, man. So for me, I agree with what you said. I really feel like Erin's pressure is gonna be a lot of problems for Manon Fiorot. Manon Fiorot is usually big on being the hammer, not really being the nail as she's really used to. Just being able to walk opponents down with that striking disparity. And just taking advantage of, these girls really don't have, nowhere near the level of striking to her. I think that she is the better striker, like how AJ did say at the beginning, but I do think that Erin might have a little bit more power. I think if they go blow for blow, I do think Erin does hit relatively hard, surprisingly hard, for what people would expect. I know when they start going toe to toe and start exchanging, I do feel what Tai said. I watched the face-offs before we went live this evening too. Manon, she is bigger, like 5'7" to 5'4". I know Erin looked like it says listed 5'4". It looked like it was like 5'2" to 5'7". Like she was really looking up at her. I was kind of surprised, But I do think that that's not really going to matter. Grappling nullifies height advantages. And I really think that she's gonna be walking her down the whole fight. We saw in the Tyler Santos fight, she took a lot of bad, devastating strikes in the first round. And kept coming forward. She was taking front kicks to the face, and she was still coming forward. because she already knew what was going to happen. She knew it would be a hard first round. Let's get this over with so I can tire you out and get you to the ground, you know. And I mean, I feel like it'll be similar to the same. I feel like that takedown is going to be in the back of her mind the whole fight. She doesn't have to do desperation takedowns because she's good at chaining everything together. If she goes for the takedown, she's going to try to turn like that into like, you know, like a Greco-Roman like foot trip as she comes up into the clinch, try to sweep your, like, you know, like sweep that back leg, get you to the ground, you know, like do that, get into the half guard. She's really, really, really cerebral in her approach. And she's been training martial arts since she was 7 years old. I think we're seeing she's 20. She's in this big ass spot at 24. So I really feel like this is just really a matter of Erin's a third generation fighter, just like Ilia Topuria is. Just like you can make the case that Movsar Evloev is. These people that have like done this since they were literally children, and like I said, like they were super young, and they're gonna be super well rounded compared to Manon, who had an illustrious kickboxing career and wanted to come into MMA to try to test herself, and got into it at a little bit of a later start than Erin Blanchfield, of course. Yeah, I mean, I really feel like Erin, in terms of her experience, they're relatively the same in this fight. We know that Manon had a really long kickboxing career before this, but still, with Erin Blanchfield, she's been training martial arts since the age of 7. There's not going to be much that she has not seen in terms of a martial arts skill. And I think that her pressure and her pace in this fight is going to be a really big problem for Manon Fiorot, knowing that takedown is coming at any time. Like, she might stand up, but she's going to shoot. And, like, she's going to shoot and chain it. You know, like you know, kind of like how like the Dagestanis do the chain wrestling.
It's going to be on Fiore's mind the whole time, the takedown, right?
And she won't be able to fully commit to the strikes, really sit down on her punches. And I really feel like the grappling's going to really give her some problems the whole fight. She's not going to stop. Like, she knows it's going to be a hard fight in the first couple rounds. But in 3, 4, and 5, and of course, this is Blanchfield's first main event too. But I think, you know, okay, she's a really smart girl. Like, she knows what to expect. You know, like they trained a bunch of 5 rounds and then like in the camp, you know. So I really feel like she's going to have a good game plan in this fight. And I think she can get her to the ground. And I think she can get a 4th round submission for Erin Blanchfield.
Especially like the fact that Fiore's a kickboxer, right? Like, that honestly just like gives into the skill set of Blanchfield, being able to like literally just catch a kick and take her down and then just take her back from that point on.
Literally.
I feel like shit, I can't even speak right now, bro. Should I have No, man. I just think that at some point in this fight, let's be real, you know, Fiore's going to throw a bit of a shit kick. You know, she's a world-class kickboxer, but I don't think she's going to be a world-class kickboxer for 5 straight rounds.
25 minutes. No.
Yeah, she's finna throw like a wacky-ass kick, and Blanchfield's going to catch that shit, and she might give up her back, just something like that. You know what I
mean? Yeah, that's what I feel. But yeah, Nikki, you can bring us on, bro. Go ahead.
You know, I like that you brought up Dagestani before, because you know what I think about this fight, that it might sound crazy to some people, but you just got to hear it out, that these 2 girls fighting is kind of like if people don't like WMMA, right, just look at it like this. If this was the male fight, I would say this is like Khamzat versus Shavkat, right? Like, these 2 girls are on 2 of the craziest win streaks ever, and you got one that is just like an excellent grappler, and then you got one who can good takedown defense. Obviously, Shavkat has great submissions, right? And Manon, she's more of a kickboxer. I would compare her more to Shavkat, and it's just they're both riding these crazy win streaks. This is going to be a crazy fight. This is the best fight you can make in WMMA that doesn't involve champions, obviously. I like Blanchfield in this fight for a sub. It's hard though, because you really don't know. Like, if that fight happened between Khamzat and Shavkat, you don't know how it's going to go, and it's the same on the post. Like, you could predict it all you want, but they're such high level, but haven't fought each other. That's the only thing that really matters at the end of the day, is how they're going to fight each other. Other fights, you can do a little MMA math and it helps, but this one is no one knows. We're just predicting. No one knows till they get out there and fight. It could just be a domination fight, you know, 50-45 or something, or it could be a split decision. I think Blanchfield's going to take over in this fight a little bit. You know, I like sometimes when the shorter fighter's better at grappling, it's hard not to, you know, to like pound on that, because it's like just the lower center mass of gravity, all that. I got her winning by a submission in this one. Everyone said a lot of good stuff for this fight. And listen, we've been getting a lot of good women's fights recently. So if the trend's going to keep up, I think this is going to be a banger. I think Blanchfield will come out here with a submission.
Yeah, got the fans here too. And Blanchfield's fighting at home. She's from New Jersey, so she's gonna get a big ass pop when she makes it to the cage. If she wins, okay. And again, before we even break down the post stuff, thank y'all so much for joining us. Thank you so much again, AJ. Thank you so much, bro. Loved every minute having you here. And yeah, y'all, just to let the credits roll, I was about to say. Clearly, we know that season 32 of The Ultimate Fighter will be coached by Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko, my baby. We're gonna see. That's like literally my favorite all-time fighter. Not even on like no sexual shit. She's like my favorite, male or female. Like I love her. Love her so much. Yeah. But yeah, bro. That's it, man. Like clearly, like they're doing that season of The Ultimate Fighter. It's gonna take a minute for them to come back from doing that training, like the training, they're filming the show, and doing like the training camp stuff like that. We know that UFC 306 is supposed to be in the Sphere. Dana already said that's the Mexican Independence Day card. So I assume, they're gonna probably shoot it. They're gonna broadcast it throughout the summertime. It's March, about to be April. As we record this at 2:00 in the morning in America, it is March 30th on Saturday. So it's about to be April, May, June, July, August. They're probably gonna shoot, but they're gonna like show the show throughout summertime. It'll probably end in August, right in time for 306. And my man The Hill's gonna try to spin that bread for that Sphere card. I totally feel you. That's going to be a hell of an experience. It's a pay-per-view, and it's an international holiday card too. So it's going to be the quality of a pay-per-view. And also like the festivities, like, for the Noche UFC, they did like the outside press conference and like the outside face-off with the mariachi band. And it was just really cool to see. So it's really going to be cool to see how they integrate that with the Sphere. It's going to be really, really cool. I can't lie. Especially because, and again, I only brought that up because I feel like that will probably be the main event. It's Mexican Independence Day. I know some people talking about Elias Portia. He's from Spain and Georgia, of course. So like they wanted to be a Mexican champion. They only have one of those. Literally, she's an undisputed champion. Like literally, she could fit right in and be the main event in a trilogy after 2 crazy fights. And yeah, man, I think that this fight is going to set up whoever the challenger is. And that's it. I don't think the winner of this should have to take any other fights. It's going to be over. Right when this is done, we know who's going to fight the winner of Grasso versus Shevchenko 3. And that's it, man. We're going to see how it goes. Great stream, y'all. Great stream. Love having everyone in the chat. My boy Nahil, my boy Tai Tai. Pick 'em, like I said, fight round. Anakin, love you, boy. You for popping out, really appreciate you. And yeah, man, again, thank you so much, AJ. I really did appreciate having you here, bro. So it was a whole lot of fun, man. Guys, please go subscribe to AJ's channel at Awjayzmma, at AWJZ, like the rapper, MMA.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great guy, as y'all can see. Great YouTuber, great content. And yeah, y'all got any closing remarks? That's it from me.
Appreciate that, bro. Nah, man, before I dip, as always, definitely a great card this weekend, man. Definitely really looking forward to you watching it.
I give it an 8 out of 10. I give it an 8 out of 10 for
honestly, people been complaining the last couple of weeks about the cards and shit. Like, I understand, there've been some wacky fight night cards, but they're making up for this weekend, man. It's going to be a great card, and I'm looking really forward to watching it, with the people and that. I hope you guys have a great time watching this card, and I want to say to Anakin, my boy, man, shout out to you. Nahil, shout out to Nahil. That's one of my buddies on the Discord MMA group chat. He's a good homie of mine. Shout out to Tai Bets, man. Shout out to Pick 'em MMA as always, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man.
Fight Realm, all that shit.
Yeah, Fight Realm, hell yeah, bro. Shout out to Carlos G. Shout out to who else was it? Oh, it doesn't really matter. Oh, I might actually see if I can find him. No, I just want to say shout out to everybody in the chat, man. This was a dope.
All you boys, man. All you boys.
As always, man.
This will not be the last time.
Yeah,
not
man.
at all.
I'm down to hop on. You know, every once in a while, man. We'll always get something set up. You know, I love my people.
Absolutely.
You know, Antoine and the co-host Nikki. You feel me? A great duo when it comes to the MMA podcast. But I'm out of here, guys. Nikki, Antoine, thank you so much for having me, guys. And I'll see you guys in the future, man. No doubt. I hope you guys have a great time watching this fight night card. And until then, guys.
You too, man. Enjoy your day on the other side of the planet, bro.
Yeah, you too, bro.
Safe out there, bro. No problem. We're about to go to we're about to go to sleep.
Guys. I'm about to say.
It's all good, bro.
Yeah, I'm about to say, guys, make sure you have a good sleep, bro. Get a bunch of sleep. Get ready for this card because I'm looking extremely forward to it, man.
For sure, bro. And thank you again for joining us, man, for the last time. And enjoy your day, man. God bless you. It
won't be the last time either, for sure.
Absolutely not. Most definitely.
Yeah, we got something cooking up, everybody. If you're still here, you'll be the first to know we got something big cooking up soon. So we'll keep you guys posted.
Promise. Make sure to check out all of our social medias, our Twitter. And also don't be afraid to pop out to our late night MMAHolic gaming sessions.
Hell yeah.
You might see us playing video games, but that's literally just for the entertainment of the viewers. We're talking MMA literally the entire time. From the live chat, just playing some Nazi zombies, playing some other stuff, whatever you guys want to see us play. You can also request a game. You can watch us play it while we talk about MMA. And if it's a multiplayer game, if any of you guys want to play, y'all definitely can. We get to hop in, talk some MMA. Of course, AJ, you as well. If you like to play anything, bruh, like any multiplayer, single player, doesn't matter. And again, thank y'all so much. And again, pop out to them gaming sessions. We have a lot of fun late nights.
Yeah, man. I saw that last week. I saw that. I was like, yo, what's up? I said, what's up?
Of course, man. Always. And we're really, really glad you came through then and you came through now. And again, God bless y'all. Good evening, good morning, good night, whenever you're watching this. And y'all have a nice night. God bless y'all, every single one of you.
God bless you, Nikki, Antoine. God bless everyone in the chat, man. You guys have a great night. And I'll see you guys soon, man. No doubt.
Bless up.
Of course, most definitely.